It's your go-to place for entertaining car talk, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Randy Borcherding from Paint House with news on the Ranchero and the Grand National Roadster Show. Jeff has his top 6 EVs coming soon to a dealership near you, and later we'll talk to Scott Coons, the Chief Operating Officer of Coons Auto and RV Group, about the ups and downs of leasing. Plus, Conrad has the car clinic, and I'll have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. It's all straight ahead on this edition of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad you could join us on this Saturday for our live presentation. If you're listening or watching on one of our recorded things, this is episode 1 of this week. And just so you'll know, we break these up into 30-minute podcasts throughout the week.
Congratulations, Pop-Up.
Thank you.
You didn't have anything. Your daughter had a...
Yes. I now have a grandson.
And his name?
I don't know.
You don't know your grandson's name? It's not Don, then?
No, it's Samuel Everett Stewart.
SES.
And he's going to be called Rhett, as in Rhett Butler.
Well, I've told you that story, right? My 2 sisters are Melanie and Sue Ellen from Gone with the Wind, and I was almost Rhett, except my dad wanted Conrad because that's his name and his dad's name. So I was almost Rhett.
So you're Conrad the Third.
I am the 3rd. I go by Junior, but I am the 3rd.
Conrad de Troyes.
But I was almost Rhett.
You know, because there's a junior.
What'd you call me?
Conrad de Troyes.
Oh.
You thought it was something else. Well,
you know where Conrad's mind's at.
The train just rolled right off the track.
He walks in and he starts.
So where's Borcherding?
Looking for him.
You might want to give him a call. He's probably still in bed, be my guess.
Well, he wasn't real impressed with the time, I don't think.
Well, we can
wake him up.
Well,
let's go to his house.
Let's go over there.
Let's go.
We'll take a little road trip. Of course, it'll take us an hour to get up there.
Take us an hour to get in the car.
Well, that's that. But we could do that over to the cell phone, I think. Can't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Later on in the show, by the way, we're going to talk to our dear friend, Bobby Sparkman, with the Hot Rod Tour of Texas, which yours truly is going to do part due. And I'm going to go on the Hot Rod Tour again this year. So these boys will kind of be left on their own.
Oh, boy.
No babysitter.
Yeah. And so where are you guys meeting me?
New Braunfels?
New Braunfels.
New Braunfels.
Not the stuff.
New Braunfels.
New Braunfels.
New Braunfels.
New Braunfels.
Samson.
So we're all going to Schlitterbahn together.
No, it's on the other side.
How fun. I can see that. I've only been to Schlitterbahn once.
I've been a couple of times with the kids.
I'm going to bring my one piece.
Your one piece.
Bathing suit.
The striped one?
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Like a candy striper.
That's why Don remembers it.
It was very stunning.
Red with white stripes. Anyway.
Do hospitals have candy stripers anymore?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Do they?
Not that I know of.
My 80-year-old aunt is the volunteer candy striper at a hospital if that does the.
Really?
She's been doing it for 25 years, she said.
Okay.
She striped a lot of candy then.
I'm telling her.
You don't. I don't ever see them if they're there.
Yeah, I spend a little time in them, and I don't.
Of course, they don't wear the little white nurse's cap anymore either, and most of them don't have white shoes. Remember the nurses' look back in the day?
Remember?
Now they have purple Crocs.
Oh, I hope not. Those things. Phew.
My aunt has white hair, too, to match everything.
Does she wear a white nurse's uniform?
I don't know.
You've not seen her.
She lives over here in Katy, so I don't see her that often.
You stop by and visit her when we're doing tailpipes and tacos.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
No, that's
Do
cool.
you really?
Yeah, very
Don't
good.
lie.
Yeah,
Do you
once
really?
in a while, but right now she came over for a couple of days this past week and to see my mom, so I got to visit with her over there at the house.
Well, it's your
bit.
mom's birthday, too. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, thank you. She had a big time.
Good.
With the sombrero hat, I saw that. Mm-hmm. What was the name of that Mexican restaurant?
Sombreros.
Sombreros.
Very simple. Very easy.
Not just any breros, sombreros.
Yeah.
Sombreros.
Not all breros.
Just some of them.
Well, we were going to have a car show, and it's just really rolled right off the track on this.
Randy's having
As it usually does.
he says he's having some computer issues. So I'm
What
trying
does that
help
have
him
to do
out
with
that.
anything?
Well, he can't get on Zoom to get to us.
Oh, well, he could call us.
Well, he could
Yeah.
do that.
Give us a jingle.
I have news about Carvana.
Uh-oh. Jimmy Johnson news?
The $806 million loss the used car retailer registered last quarter,
How much?
$806 million last quarter, was more than triple the deficit analysts were expecting on a per-share basis. Coming off its lowest retail unit sales in 2 years, Carvana forecast another drop in the first 3 months of this year as it shrinks inventory and slashes marketing spending.
Oh, well.
I wonder how much they spent on Jimmy Johnson's
how
Daytona
many
500
millions-
car.
Well, he's racing with them as a primary sponsor for
Right.
like so many races.
After making an ill-timed acquisition just as sales and used car prices took a turn, the once rapidly growing retailer is firmly in retreat mode. According to Kevin Tynan, Bloomberg Intelligence auto analyst, said in a note, Carvana shares plunged nearly 20% more in morning trading yesterday to $8.08.
Wow.
Oops.
Maybe we should buy some.
Well, when it gets down to about 16 cents, where it's equal to my Enron stock that I have, I might have to buy some. I can put it up there on the wall with Enron and Carvana. Could
Well,
be
wait
sitting
just
there.
a minute now. Enron, I think that some portion of Enron is still in business.
Oh, well, I have 1,000 shares.
Yeah, at 16 cents a share.
Well, last time I looked, that's what it was worth. That's not what I paid for it by any means.
No, just remember, buy low, sell high.
Yeah, well, there's that.
Or don't sell.
Have you heard about the Hyundai
Fiasco?
folks? Yeah, with the child labor laws.
Oh, no,
Oh,
I hadn't
no.
heard that.
Oh my God! I think that if I didn't air the story, only because we ran out of time, a 3 weeks ago. South Korean automaker Hyundai on Friday told shareholders that it will divest its controlling stake in a major Alabama auto parts plant where Reuters last year documented children as young as 12 years old working.
Here in the United States.
In Alabama.
L.A., Lower Alabama.
Whatever. Hyundai also told investors it was implementing extensive new corporate measures, including a training program for its parts suppliers to begin next month in collaboration with the U.S. Department of Labor to prevent future child labor violations.
So they're going to train them in elementary school?
You teach them how to read.
Hyundai's pledge to
It
its
is
shareholders comes after a 2022 Reuters investigation showed several suppliers to the automaker's massive Montgomery, Alabama vehicle plant used underage migrant workers to make parts for its popular U.S.-made cars and crossovers.
So that's what's going on in Laredo.
I don't know about that, but Smart is the name of the company in Alabama. That there's a supplier. U.S. and Alabama law prohibits people under the age of 16 from working in industrial factory settings, and anyone under 18 is prohibited from working in particularly dangerous roles in automotive plants, such as driving forklifts or operating metal cutting and stamping machines. Earlier this month, 33 members of Congress urged the Department of Labor to seek strong and swift penalties against those responsible for child labor in the Hyundai supply chain.
They're in it for the money.
Yeah, we can't even have our own children do illegal jobs. We got to bring them in.
Imports.
When did you start working? How old were you?
Well, for a real paycheck, probably 12.
Really?
Yep.
I was 15.
Yeah, 15,
You know,
16.
now I say for a paycheck. I mean, I was throwing newspapers before that,
Yeah, cutting lawns as a kid, all that.
but I would say for a written paycheck,
From somebody else.
yeah, probably 12.
I was 15. Bussing dishes at
Yep.
Rumpelheimer's Ice Cream Parlor.
I was a bar back at Sleepy Hollow Country Club in
Onassis, Coney Island. I'd sling hot
Scarsdale,
dogs.
New York.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
we got the man.
we do. And let's go to him now. Ladies and gentlemen, live from, well, we'll assume that it is from Northwest Harris County.
Mm-hmm.
It may
Cypress,
be
Texas.
It may be even Montgomery County. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Randy Borcherding from Paint House. Yay. How are you? Oh, good. We
Well,
can't hear.
Is he tuned up?
Come
have to
on,
unmute it.
You
Mars.
got him turned up?
He
Wait,
went,
are
he
you-
went mute
are
on
you-
me.
Are you muted?
Not now.
Not now.
How about now?
Oh, much better.
Can you hear me now?
That was Mars that had you muted.
Yeah, no, it was on his end.
In his
Oh, okay. Well,
Drink
Randy,
more
it's
coffee.
good to see you, my friend.
Did
Fresh.
Jen give you her mute button?
You're familiar with that, I can tell.
It doesn't work.
No, I'm sure it does not. So I understand that you went to the Hot Rod show.
The Grand National Roadster Show? Is
Yeah.
that what you're referencing?
Yes.
Yep, we did. We had a great time.
And how was that?
It was a phenomenal show. It always is.
Where was it?
It's always in Pomona, California at the Pomona Fairgrounds.
Okay.
Where the drag strip is and all that.
Yep.
And the NHRA Museum. There's a lot going on there. And, man, what a great show. I don't know if you've ever been, but in addition to the Amber, the America's Most Beautiful Roadster, which is kind of the big award they're known for, they've now come up with this Slonaker Award, which is kind of like the Riddler in some ways, in that it has a more broad category of vehicles that can enter. Amber is very specific. The Slonaker, just about anything can enter, I think, within a certain number of years, I suppose. And then it has an amazing outdoor show as well. So they'll have, I don't know, 1,000 other vehicles parked all around the fairgrounds. They have a Suede Palace where there's all the rockabilly and you know, the rat rods and traditional type stuff. It's just a really eclectic mix of everything, all packed into one place.
And
1,000.
did you bring something to show?
We were part of 3 vehicles that were there. 2 we took out. One is the Ranchero that I think you've seen, that we had at SEMA before.
Love it.
A 61 panel truck that a friend of mine bought from Tim Strange, a known builder, and he road tripped it out. So we had kind of a fun road trip all the way out, and it broke a couple times. We had to fix it, and at one point it got so cold the dang thing wouldn't even go into gear. We had to wait an hour for it to warm up. So we had a fun road trip out, and then we painted a 60 Buick Invicta built by Andy Leach.
Wow.
That was entered in the Slonaker competition and ended up winning. So it was a great show
That's
for
a big car.
everybody.
Where did you paint it?
Here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It wasn't something you did out there as part of that show.
No, it was, Andy is from Nebraska, Omaha. So we went up to Omaha, did some of the body work and block sanding, drug it back to Houston, painted it with a color that we came up with, and then he took it back to Omaha, finished the car. We went back up there, sanded and polished the car, and then we all met in California at the show.
So it was a group effort.
It was. So we were involved in the paint job and the making of the color, and just what a stunning car. I wish I had a way to show it to you right now, but I don't.
So what did you name the color? Because usually you have a creative color
Well,
naming.
the car's an Invicta, so it's green, so I called it Inverde.
Oh, okay.
It's a neat piece, very retro and traditional, and just a beautiful car that you don't see very often.
No, and if I remember correctly, didn't the Invicta have the headlights were kind of
At an
at
angle.
an angle coming
Yes.
coming off
It's
the hood?
a very wide car, and the front is actually wider than the rear. It's kind of got wings at the front and wings at the rear. Looks like it might fly, actually.
It's a long car. It's a big car.
A very long car, very wide car, very low car. And it's running a Nailhead Buick
Oh, wow.
with a crankshaft mounted supercharger.
I remember, didn't Bitch and Rods do one with a V12 in it or something? The blue suede shoes is what they called it. I think it was an
Maybe-
Invicta.
was it Buick or Cadillac? Maybe it was a Buick. I can't remember.
I thought it was
But
an
yes,
Invicta.
I recall
yeah.
the car.
Yeah.
Neat car. But the show is awesome. Every car guy's got to go to that show at least once.
Well, you always hear about it. I think part of it's the Grand National Roadster Show. Just the name of it kind of sounds really impressive.
Did they
it would
do
be a big
anything on the
deal.
drag strip?
No, they don't. Not at that event. They have other events out there, obviously. And the NHRA museum is there.
Yep.
So there's a whole lot of automotive stuff going on packed into one, a few acres of land.
I was just going to say, because I assume that they open up the entire parking lot, or most of it anyway, for the 1,000 cars.
Oh yeah, the neat thing is this complex has about 9 or 10 buildings.
Yes.
So it's all housed within individual buildings, so it's not all one giant building. And then around the buildings is where all these cars come in and park. So as you exit a building to go to another building, you're leaving an indoor car show, walking through an outdoor car show, and then going back into an indoor car show. So it's a really fun mix of both worlds, and you see some stuff outside that you would think belongs inside on mirrors and stands.
Was it actually a multi-day event?
Yes, it's a Friday to Sunday thing,
Yeah. So
like most of the car shows of the indoor ilk anyway.
yeah. So this wasn't a cruise in at all.
Well, the drive-in part is, those cars drive in and drive out every day.
Okay. All right. So it does have a component of that as well.
Yeah. So the outside stuff drives in. The inside stuff is just traditional indoor stuff, and it doesn't leave until Sunday night. So you get both. You get to see them driving in, driving out. It's no matter what you think of California, this show is something that everybody should see at least once. If you have any interest in automotive stuff, mechanical stuff, retro stuff, anything.
How was the weather?
Flawless, as you might expect.
Southern California.
Well, it's not
But I've
that
been
this
there.
weekend.
We've been there when it hasn't been. It's been pouring rain, and they'll still get 500 cars drive in.
Wow.
It's impressive.
What's that behind you?
That is a 70 Cougar that we're in the
Nice.
process of getting to the upholstery shop.
And what color do you call that besides orange?
Short bus yellow.
Short
good.
bus yellow.
Is it
I named it after Don's school bus.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But it's
that's
got,
appropriate.
It's got the 4.6 Terminator motor, came in the 04 Cobra Mustangs,
Uh-huh.
supercharged, 6-speed manual, custom wheels by EVOD. It's a neat piece.
Are those real
Detroit speed
knockoff?
sus- Detroit speed suspension. Pardon me?
Are those real knockoff wheels?
No, they're faux.
Okay. They look good.
So
They
when
do.
when you were
On
out
the street, I think I want lug nuts.
when you were out at the Roadster show, were you inspired by anything? See some things that you hadn't seen before that you might add to something in your future?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We were part of an event called Keep on Truckin'. So it was 100 trucks in one building of just the last 50 years, significant vehicles. So the Ranchero was invited. This panel truck that we drove out was invited. The funny thing was we only washed half the panel truck. So half of it was clean and half of it showed the road trip. Just we wanted to prove that it was driven. But they had all the custom vans there, like in the 70s.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh, nice.
I grew up on that stuff with the
Yeah.
crazy paint and the crazy
Striping.
interiors and,
Shag
and
carpet.
side pipes.
The
and good
teardrop and the octagonal windows.
Oh.
Button tuck, yeah.
speed. Absolutely. So that just brought back a lot of great memories from my
I'll
childhood.
bet it did. I can only imagine.
Some of them you don't want to tell
Yeah.
Jen.
back in the day, what was it? Trucking Magazine used to have the mini trucks and the vans.
Mm-hmm.
It was neat to see all that.
Nice.
And the although it's not my style, the lowriders, they're always very impressive.
Yeah, I say that at Autorama. I really love walking through the lowriders, the artistry of the mural work, and then the artistry of the
engraving.
The engraving on the chrome just kind of blows me away.
Yeah, it's taken to a level that you're either sick or you're very talented or both. and clearly you've got to have some funding because none of that's cheap. But the artistry is amazing, and the colors too. You know, because of me and what I do, I'm drawn to the color too.
What do you got in the shop currently that you're working on that we haven't heard about?
We have a little 280Z. It's an original owner car, 6,000 miles, and he's probably going to sell it. But we're just doing some touch-ups and little things to it, getting it ready. It's not a special big project, but something different and something unique. It's the classic 280 body style that we all fell in love with and probably still love.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
I sure like the new one they've come up with. It's very retro.
It is, and it is. It's conservatively styled, which kind of blew me away the way that they've done the new one.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of them at SEMA, and everyone I saw, they got the proportions right, and you can tell what it's supposed to be. Like the new Camaros, to me, okay, you know it's a Camaro because they told you it's a Camaro, but it doesn't really look like an old Camaro.
Yeah, you don't see the heritage in it anymore.
Yeah, well, the Challenger's a little closer, even though it's no longer alive. But this car, the new, is it a 350? I forget the number.
400?
I don't know what they're calling it, but you can tell it's reminiscent to the old 280.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of them.
So are you done with all the Corvettes you were building last time we talked?
No, we still got the 69 that's about to be painted. We're struggling with the hood right now. It's an aftermarket hood, and the ugly nature of this business is you don't always get good parts, and the fiberglass is not cooperating, and I don't know. It's a struggle at times with fiberglass cars.
Just trying to get it
getting ready for paint.
Just trying to get it to fit right or operate correctly.
Well, an initial fit, and then the material being stable. When you put it out on a warm day, it moves around a lot and doesn't look like it did when we sanded it, and that is problematic when you put a pretty slick paint job on there. So I'm not sure if we have a product with a bad resin in it or just low build quality. I've got to follow up with the manufacturer and just see what's going on here and how can we resolve this, because we got a lot of hours in this hood, and they may give me another hood, but no one covers all those hours. We got it, and then you got to do them a second time.
As you say, does that really fix the problem, or do they just give you another hood with the same issue?
Yeah, and you don't know till you know,
right.
And then you buried more time in it. So that's sort of the ugly hidden underside of some of these hot rod builds.
Well, we sure would like to see you out at Tailpipes and Tacos some Saturday morning. Our next show's April 15th. Come on out and say hello.
I would love to do that, and I'm a big fan of tacos, so there you go.
There you go. It works well.
We'll buy one for you.
All right.
Randy, it's great to talk to you. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks for joining us so early.
Yeah, we appreciate
it.
Bye-bye. Randy Borcherding with Paint House.
Mm-hmm. It's always fun to see what he's got.
I know, it truly is. All right. Jeff has a little special feature for us today.
Okay.
The top 6 EVs of the future. There are more, but he chose 6.
There are more.
Okay, it's all yours.
Okay. Let me
the Easy Go Kart.
Easy Go Kart?
The golf cart.
No. Actually, the first one, we've got, if I can operate this correctly, I need 3 hands and 4 feet. So these are cars that are not yet for sale, but they're in different stages of production. And what we've got are 5 Bentley models expected in 2025. Bentley is planning a major pivot from the 15-mile-per-gallon land yachts to completely new models for fully electric powertrains. Bentley says it will replace the existing Bentayga, Flying Spur, Continental GT, and some Yugos. No, I made that up. They'll have convertible and coupe models. Introduced all the models lineups by 2023. So these 5 should all be out by 2023.
This is 2023.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2030. We are in 2023. That's correct. I was testing you. And then the first replacement should arrive in 2025. Okay, write that down. 2023.
So the Bentleys used the Yugo for a spare tire instead of a spare tire.
Next we have, which is the perfect name for a vehicle, the Buick Electra. Expected in 2024, Buick has revived the nameplate of the 18-foot-long steel sled from 1959 for its new all-electric SUV that's already been revealed in China. The Electra E5 uses GM's Ultium battery platform.
It's the balloon.
And should roughly be the same size as the Chevrolet Equinox. An investigation into the trademarks have revealed Buick's future lineup with filings for the Electra E1 through E9. We expect the Electra E5 to perform similarly to the Cadillac available Lyriq with a range of 300 miles, 340 horsepower. Buick is to put a Tri-Shield logo atop the fully electric lineup by 2030.
That's a new Tri-Shield.
Yep, and see the first Electra sometime in 2024. But I like it. I think that's a good-looking car. It kind of looks like the Traverse and all the other things. This one's a favorite. It's called a Canoo. Pickup truck.
Do you canoe?
No, it's not.
Canoe.
I looked into I knew you guys were going to go with that. It's Canoo. Canoo. Expected in 2024. The Canoo is an electric automotive startup from California, and this is its pickup. Now, they have a van also, but I'm showing the pickup for now.
An odd-looking.
It's called, by other words, pickup truck. The Canoo pickup promises more than 500 horsepower.
How creative.
And at least 200 miles of range. It's smaller than what's typically found in a midsize pickup segment, being 2 feet shorter than a Ford Ranger. Canoo, its pickup will be offered in 6 to 8 foot bed lengths. Pre-orders open right now, Mike, in case you need to get one. Production starting sometime in 2024. The U.S. Army is also testing a modified version of the pickup.
Kind of reminds me, you remember the old show car, the Diora?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
A little bit.
Never mind.
This is a Hyundai expected. It's a Hyundai Ioniq 7 expected in 2024. Built on the same eGMP platform as the 5. Will be similar to the current 3-row Palisade in size. Currently, Hyundai has only shown us a concept, but judging by what you see there, the current design and the language that they produce will be a production model. It's simply the real 7 could look even crazier. So the 5 and then the 7 coming out. It's a bigger SUV. Expect a large battery that could support at least 300 miles of range. No price yet, and hopefully the first one will be out in 2024. This one's cool. I like this one. And go think of a real simple name, but it's a Lincoln Star. Expected in 2024, Lincoln aims to switch a fully electric lineup by 2030. We expect a production version of the Star to arrive in late 2024 and as a 2025 model. This will be Lincoln's first EV. The Star concept revealed in 2022 looks half like a Lincoln Navigator and half like a spaceship. I like the spaceship side. I always did like spaceships. Lincoln says the production midsize 2-row crossover will come with both rear and front wheel drive powertrains, and it's a big cab as a concept, similar to the Ford Mach-E with starting price around $70,000. So I like it.
So it's built on a similar platform as the Ford Mach-E?
Similar platform, similar styling. And the last but not least, my favorite, the Cadillac Celestiq, expected sometime before 2025.
That's Cadillac, a hell of a picture there.
I know. Well, it's secret. It's a secret car.
Okay.
Like every upcoming GM EV will be built on the Ultium battery platform. It's also showcased on the GMC Hummer EV. It's going to be a flagship starting around $100K for that vehicle.
Okay.
Or you want to go green? They need a lot of green to go green.
There you go.
I want to remind you that the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also have video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcast at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod, Classic, Resto-Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. It's the world's most popular in-wheel time car talk show. Just ahead, we talked to Scott Coons, COO of Coons Auto and RV Group. Conrad will have the in-wheel time car clinic. We'll have this week's auto news headlines as well. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday for our live broadcast. Thank you very, very much. Joining us now is Scott Coons. And Scott...
that's not the way it's pronounced.
Well, we'll let Scott tell
Well,
us.
He just sent a text. I'm just saying. Yeah, as soon
All
as
right.
I can get it, as soon as he unmutes, he can tell us exactly.
Can you unmute yourself there, Scott? Well, I'm sorry because I wasn't given the privilege of knowing how to pronounce your last
I
name.
thought you could.
I wasn't either.
No, that's all right.
You can
Yeah,
pronounce-
it's Cunis, but that's all right.
Cunis.
I've heard
There you
it.
go.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
sure
heard it
I'm
a
not the
million
first one to
Cunis.
pronounce it Coons.
No, you are not.
I was
That's
thinking
for sure.
Scott. I thought, how many ways can you pronounce Scott?
Exactly.
So he is the COO of the Kunis Auto and RV Group. Where are you located?
We are located in the Midwest, and our headquarters is in Wisconsin, but we have stores in Illinois, Iowa, and Minnesota.
Where are you in Wisconsin?
Right near Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay, very nice. It's a very nice part of Wisconsin. As a matter of fact, that's where all of the Chicagoans go. Kind of like that
That
in North Chicago.
And what's the
It is.
temperature there right now?
Right now we're about 30 degrees. So
Ooh, it's a heat wave.
yeah, it's not too terrible. We got a little snow last night, a couple inches. So
Very nice. So, Scott, we wanted to talk to you today about leasing. Tell me a little bit about your auto group first.
So our auto group was founded 26 years ago by my father, and started out in a small town just outside of Lake Geneva called Delavan, Wisconsin. And in the past 26 years, we've grown to just about every make and model. And 4 years ago, we entered the RV realm, and we have 14 RV stores throughout Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois.
Wow.
Very nice. So you have a lot of experience, not only in sales, I assume, but also in leasing.
Yeah, leasing is something that I think is poised to make a pretty big comeback here, especially with interest rates rising and the used car market. You know, we had a glut, or not. I'm sorry, not a glut, but we had a lack of vehicles built between 2020 and 2023. Right.
Yep.
And so that is now starting to hit the used car market. We're seeing that in pricing already, even though interest rates are pushing demand down, because we're about estimates are anywhere 7 to 10 million vehicles behind where we should be in terms of the new vehicles that were sold in the past 3 years. So if you think about it this way, a lot of people often buy a 3-year-old vehicle, right? And that's their kind of trade cycle. Somebody buys a new vehicle, they trade it in 3 years, somebody else buys that vehicle. Well, that 3-year-old vehicle is severely lacking in the market right now. So to keep those payments down and affordable with the higher interest rates, I do foresee leasing making a pretty large comeback.
Well, let's not forget the price of new vehicles that has skyrocketed here in the past few years. I mean, my gosh, we're pushing a $50,000 average price for a new vehicle sold. I mean, that's getting way up there, man. I did drive a $20,000 Kia Soul not that long ago, a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, and a nice car. But I can't even imagine them keeping them on the lot at all because there aren't any $20,000 cars anymore.
No, and it's amazing. Most of the manufacturers are exiting that market right now. They're looking, the manufacturers like to kind of demonize dealers a little bit and saying we charged over sticker and all that kind of stuff. But their profits and their average MSRP has gone up so much in the past 3 years. They have just as much of a hand to play in it as well. But I think the biggest thing that they've done is they've looked at it and said these higher dollar vehicles and trucks make them more profit to their bottom line.
Absolutely.
And if you look, most of them are exiting that entry car market. Ford did away with the Focus. Chevy did away with the Cruze. They came out with an EcoSport so they came out with some smaller SUVs, but it still doesn't help in that area that we're missing right now. And in fact, I was just talking to the Mitsubishi reps, and they're going to be pushing away from the Mirages and G4s. And I told them, I said, I think you're making a giant mistake. There's going to be a void in the market for a sub $20,000 new vehicle, and no one's building it. Toyota's got the Corolla, and they're pushing that, and they're doing very, very well with it.
But I think, like you said, though, it's profit. They're looking at where the profitability is, and it's like the higher price, the higher profit margin. Toyota's got a long history with the Corolla, so they've already got a lot of research, got a lot of investment in there already that they can work with. So I can see that, but the rest of them, I think you're right. They're chasing the money.
Well, and you also talk about how in the queue of used cars, how that's kind of a shrinking queue of cars available. Not only, because that was filled up by the cars coming off lease, the 2 and 3 year leases were filling that up, but also the rental car turnaround, that virtually stopped in 2020 when all the rental cars just dumped their vehicles because they weren't renting cars because of COVID. So those
and it actually flipped on us there a little bit. The rental car companies, they dumped a lot of their cars and kind of flooded the market with them. Then they couldn't get cars. So before, when I used to be a used car buyer, and I'd be buying vehicles from the rental car companies direct to put onto my lot. Now the rental car companies were calling us to buy vehicles, and I was competing against them in the auction lanes. And when they're not looking for a vehicle to sell, they're looking for a vehicle to fill a niche that they're going to rent out over and over again. So that also drove the price of the market up because you had Enterprise, Hertz, Dollar, all of them in the lanes competing against dealers that now we can't retail the car because they're just looking to rent the car. They have to fill a need, right?
And they were willing to pay more for it to do that.
Yep.
Well, there's a story, Automotive News this week. Sometimes less is more. Stellantis saw North American operations power profit gains for 2022, a year in which top brands Ram and Jeep saw their U.S. sales fall by double digits. Pricing power and higher-end content was the key overall. Stellantis said its average transaction price in the U.S. was $53,000.
Wow. They
are now making, adjusted operating income from North America surged 23% to $14.8 billion for the second year since the merger of Fiat Chrysler and PSA. I mean, that is a lot of money. So they're selling less cars, but they're getting more for them, and they're killing it at the bank.
Yeah.
And
they're not the only ones.
I'm sure, yes.
Ford has posted record profits. GM has posted record profits. So they're all taking advantage of the situation and moving, vehicles. And I think there is going to be a reckoning at some point here, especially like I said with them exiting that entry car level. Now the nice thing, and we started on this topic, was but the average new car payment was something around $730 last report from NADA. Wow. But the used car payment was, right around $580.
Used cars.
Used cars. Used cars. And the lease payment finally cracked down. The average lease payment finally went down below $600. So we're seeing that lease payment enter that used car territory, which should help to alleviate some of that. With higher interest rates, when you're borrowing on a smaller dollar amount, leasing, you're only paying for that depreciation. You have your payment can be much more affordable. You're only paying interest on that payment.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, now 7 years for a new car payment?
Loan.
Yeah, loan. And I'm going 7 years, Man,
we've actually gone as far as 96 months on a new car loan.
Oh,
and there's some banks out there that are floating the what would be the next one, 102 months and then 108 months.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Why would somebody put themselves into debt for a car for that long a period of time? Why? Just to keep the monthly payment down and have some big expensive car?
I mean, that's it. And when you're looking at it, here's the thing. I mean, with a new vehicle, a lot of times, when we're talking to people about a vehicle, someone will come in and say, well, I want a low payment. I need a used car and I need a payment that's going to hit a certain range. And we look at it and say, okay, well, now you're looking at a vehicle with over 100,000 miles on it easily.
Well,
right?
Over, yeah.
And if that vehicle were to break down, if the engine was to go, whatever it may be, do you have the money to afford to be able to replace that vehicle if this one just died on you, right? And as we look at it, a lot of times, especially, for people that are living paycheck to paycheck that can't afford to have a massive vehicle, catastrophe, a newer car is actually better, right? They have to pay up on a monthly payment longer, but they can, hopefully ride it out, and we always hope their situation improves over time. But
I come from the school that you buy what you can afford, and I cannot imagine going more than maybe 4 years. But, I'm still living in the 3-year time frame.
But you got to define your terms here. What you can afford. A lot of these people that he's talking about, they're looking at what can I afford per month. I don't intend. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about paying it off. I can afford to spend $500 a month.
How much car can I get?
Yeah.
What about a decent down payment so you can avoid all that nonsense?
Nobody.
Yeah, well, like I said, a lot of these people are coming in, they're living paycheck to paycheck. This is the highest in history, a percentage of a person's paycheck that their car payment has made up. I think it was something I can't remember. NADA has the stats, and I'd have to try to look it up again. But it is the highest in history that the person's average monthly income goes towards a car payment right now.
Scott, I mean, to me, it sounds to me like this business model, for lack of a better term, is kind of like the housing bubble that happened. People are buying more than they can afford, and they're going out 100+ months for a car that's 50 months, and they're zeroed out as far as what it's worth. But at some point in time, isn't it a possibility this is all going to bust just like the housing market did?
Well, yeah, and we've seen that before back in 2007, 2008, when the housing market did bust. I think that what actually was the catastrophe. I think the housing market was the result, but the start of it was actually the car bubble bursting at that point too. We were doing loans at that time. I could remember, we'd have loans at 250% of book value, and I was thinking to myself, this is unsustainable. And I was pretty young in the car business; nobody was listening to me, but this is unsustainable. To have a vehicle that somebody owes the bank 2.5 times what that vehicle is worth, and their payment is already hard to afford. Now all of a sudden that person, and it's kind of a thing in the car business that we always talk about. I mean, people kind of let their house go into default first because they need a car to get to work, right?
Right.
You can't have your car repossessed. You need the car to get to work and everything else. So a lot of times that's the second thing to go. But we've seen it before, and I think the difference is now is that supply issue that we have, right? The new car supply issue, we still are seeing that. And the used car supply issue is now starting to catch up to us from the past 2 to 3 years.
But let's face facts. I mean, the new cars, they're starting to catch up. There are more cars on the lots. Don't you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. But from certain manufacturers,
yes,
and in certain price ranges and trim levels. I can get all the Jeep Wagoneers that I want right now, but can I get a Jeep Compass? I can't, right? So it is interesting where it's going. Toyota and Honda are still pretty tight. Hyundai is starting to loosen up a little bit, and we're seeing that on the Kia side too. That's one of the one brands we don't have is Kia, but we're seeing that as a competitive set. And so, Ford has loosened up a little bit, but Chrysler is the one that seemed to always be able to have inventory on the ground. But again, it was that higher dollar unit, and that's, I think, why you can see they sold less cars and made more profit.
And the OEMs are learning to manipulate the market as well. I think GM just announced they're going to shut down the Fort Wayne truck assembly plant because they don't want so much inventory of trucks out there that it hurts the market itself. So they're going to tighten up the inventory of new trucks at the dealerships by not building any for a short period.
Well, you
of time.
go by some of the dealerships here in Houston, and that's all they have is trucks.
Yeah.
Lots
of them.
But that's Texas.
Well, I understand that.
Texas is 70% trucks.
Classic Chevrolet here in Sugar Land, as a matter of fact, they must have 500 white trucks.
Oh, yeah. Well, the white's generally the fleet.
I understand,
the
but
fleet
they've got the
operations.
trucks. They've got the same amount of chipsets in them and that sort of thing. So
I actually saw a Compass the other day. You talked about it. Not getting I saw one the other
well,
day.
I think what I'm going to do, and maybe this is a suggestion for you too, we'll just get into the repo record. And we'll just invest our money there because apparently it looks as though that there's going to be a lot of repos here.
But I want to finance my repossession truck for 20 years.
Yeah, do you have any repo wreckers on the lot that we can buy cheap?
I'm sure somebody does.
I got a couple. I can get that down to you.
I'm not even sure you can.
So Scott, in your operations on the lease side of things, have you found many lessors or lessees? The person who's paying for the lease, are they keeping the cars? Or are they still turning them in to get the next one? Because that's going to affect used inventory as well.
Yeah, that is. So, the manufacturers have really not incentivized. So before leasing, there was a lot of incentives to leasing. There was some, they helped on the rates. There was lease loyalty cash that would come out. They are still doing some lease loyalty cash, but it's not like the 2,500 we'd see before. It's 500, maybe 1,000. Depending on the vehicle that the person was leasing. The one nice thing for a lot of these lessees is that their vehicle is worth more than that residual value that that worked out 2 years ago. In fact, I leased a Yukon for a while there and was able to flip it and have actually quite a bit of equity, even though I had double the miles I was supposed to, because I kept it a little bit longer than I thought I was going to. So, which is nice. And we always say that leasing gives you options, not obligations, right? At the end of the lease term, you can either turn that vehicle back into the manufacturer or the bank that you leased it from. You can buy that vehicle and continue to drive it. Or if you're in a good equity position, you can buy that vehicle and trade it into the dealer and, use that equity to get into your next vehicle. So, that's one nice thing for people when they can lease is that leasing gives them those options, not obligations. If you're in a vehicle for even 72 months, but let's say 72 or 84 months, and after 3 years, you don't have the option to just say, you know what, the market's kind of crashed. I'm going to give that vehicle back. Yeah. Right.
Not without bringing it back with a big check to pay off the rest of it.
Exactly. Yes.
Scott, it's great.
That's the difference that we're seeing. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's the difference that we're seeing right now than I did from 2007 to 2008 is that people are in an equity position. In 2007, 2008, everybody was in a vastly negative equity position. It was, we owed way too much on the vehicles that were on the road. And we're not seeing that right now. The vehicles are still, the demand's still there.
And back then, that was kind of the way my opinion was, that was kind of the way the market operated because you could borrow more than the value of the vehicle. So you were bringing your negative equity from vehicle A to vehicle B, and then from vehicle B to vehicle C. Next thing you know, you're borrowing, 160, 170% of the value of the vehicle just trying to roll the negative equity forward.
That's correct. But the nice thing is I can remember a Taurus was $16,950, I think. So, now they don't even make the Taurus anymore. But I think right now, if that same Taurus would be about $45,000.
Well, I'll tell you what, all I can do is recommend that anybody going to visit Wisconsin, Lake Geneva, and take the mailboat tour, then by golly, they need to come and see you.
Well, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's great to talk to you. Sorry for messing up your name. Who was to know?
Okay.
Very educational. Thanks. You really brought some good information for us.
You really did. Thank you, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, you're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for riding with us today. And time now for Conrad's Car Clinic.
What?
Yeah, the Car Clinic.
Well, lots of people have the code scanners, or you go into, the parts store and they hand you that little code scanner so you can go out and see why the check engine light's on in your car. Well, there's a new product out there because, for me, when I worked in the industry, a code scanner does very limited things. It'll tell you the code number, but it doesn't necessarily give you the details of what the code does, much less you can't watch data in the code reader unless you jump up and get a scanner. My first scanner was a Tech 1. I've had ODPs. I've had the Tech 2, the OBD2 stuff that's out there now, which is all laptop driven. I went out and saw this code. They call it a code reader, but it does a lot more than that. It's the Mucar CDE 900, and it'll not only read the codes, but you can go inside the system and see what the code is and what it does and some of the parameters of what it takes to set the code, which is pretty important to understand when you're trying to diagnose what's wrong. This code is set because, this isn't giving a certain bit of information. And then you can go in and you can literally watch the data on the scanner. Beautiful thing about this, it's a nice full color screen. It's got a good long pigtail. A lot of those code readers, you plug it in and there's no wire, not much wire attached to it. So
you got to get down there with
stuck under the dash trying to plug it in. Well, I can plug this in and set this all the way over on the center console and watch the data. So I can watch O2 sensors working, doing what they're supposed to do. You can watch other bits of serial data. Plus, this scanner I call it a scanner, but this code reader scanner can also do supplemental inflatable restraints, ABS systems, and transmission control modules besides just the ECM. So it's kind of got 4 packages built into one. And when I walked in, told you guys what I was doing today, Mars had said, yeah, code scanners, code readers are going to cost $20 to $30. This one costs $99, and you can find it on eBay. But like I said, the beauty of it is it's half scanner and half code reader. Oh. So it gives you that much more ability to do some diagnostics with this than just read the code. Because what happens to a lot of people is they plug the code reader in at AutoZone and it says O2 sensor code. And the AutoZone guy sells you an O2 sensor. I'm going to tell you, you want to go look and see what the O2 sensor is doing, because the high probability is, and I've watched this for years, if it sets a code for an O2 sensor, the O2 sensor is working. There's something that the O2 sensor is seeing it doesn't like, and that's why you have to look at the data of what the O2 sensor is doing, and you can do that with this.
Get down to the root cause of the problem.
Right. And then this is updatable. There's I think it's like a $40 subscription to get it updated. It comes in like 17 different languages, so it's
awesome.
kind of a worldwide thing.
Does it have Swahili in there?
I don't know if it has Swahili, but it's got a lot of. It's got.
Can you watch Mighty Mouse on it?
Nope, can't watch Mighty Mouse on it.
Just thought I'd ask.
Can't watch.
That's the $200.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah. All right.
But if you're looking to make an investment in a scanner that does, or a code reader that does more than just read the codes, MUCAR 900 CDE is the one I would recommend to you.
You're donating that to In Wheel Time Show so we can take it with us on remotes and scan.
Sure.
Vehicles. All right.
Sure.
Cool.
A couple of stories I wanted to get in before the top of the hour. They say everything's bigger in Texas. That apparently includes monthly auto payments, according to Experian. The average fourth quarter new vehicle auto loan in the Lone Star State added up to a $787 monthly payment, the highest in the country, and $80 above the national average, according to an Experian analysis of all 50 states. Vermont borrowers
for 84 months.
Vermont borrowers received the nation's lowest average monthly payment on new vehicles. Still is not low, $625. Experian Senior Director of Financial Solutions, Melinda Zabritsky, told Automotive News she initially concluded Texas meant big trucks, with that vehicle class skewing monthly payments upward. But Vermont borrowers proportionately favored trucks more than Texas buyers, with trucks constituting 26% of Vermont's fourth quarter new vehicle loans, compared with 24% of those in Texas. Vermonters were more likely to buy crossovers or SUVs than Texans, with such vehicles representing 62% of the Vermont auto loan market compared with 54% of the Texas fleet that quarter. Instead, creditworthiness appears to be the real reason Texas ranked number 1 in payments and Vermont number 50, according to Zabritsky.
So people in Texas make their payments. People in Vermont vote for Bernie Sanders.
Oh, God. The average fourth quarter new vehicle borrower in Texas had a 707 credit score and received a 6.3% interest rate, while the average Vermonter brought a 741 score to the deal and agreed to a 5.48% APR. Texans also agreed to pay that interest over a longer period of time, taking out 70-month loans on average, compared with 67.4 months in Vermont and the 69.5-month national average. Where do you fall in all of that is the question.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, at any rate, I
think we did 60 months on Angie's Mercedes.
60 months?
Yeah. So we bought that in 18.
In 18.
So it's about getting close to getting paid off.
Lucky you. Ford Motor Company extending the downtime at an F-150 Lightning plant in Dearborn, Michigan, for an additional week following a battery fire in a truck earlier this month. The automaker in a statement said battery supplier SK On has made some manufacturing changes and restarted production at its plant in Georgia. The fire in a truck occurred in a Dearborn holding lot on February 4th during a pre-delivery quality inspection and spread to 2 other vehicles, according to the company.
Inspection.
Ford has said it is not aware of any issues with vehicles already in customer hands.
Buzz, we love you.
Does it catch fire? Yep.
A quick break now. You're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod, Classic, Resto-Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupe Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show coming up. It's an in-house show and tell.
Uh-oh.
Mars drives the 2023 Ford Maverick. I hope I got that right this week.
What Maroney do you have? He can't hear you.
Mars. I'm ignoring.
He's ignoring me because last week he told me one thing and then he says, "Oh, never mind."
But I
did the Raptor.
I did figure out what happened.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to hear that.
Let's
Now?
It's show
Right
and tell.
now.
Well, I got to look at last week. I got the two Mavericks, the Maverick Tremor and then the hybrid. And I decided, well, I need to do the Bronco in between so we don't do a Maverick back and forth, back to back. And that's what I did. But I didn't go back and update.
You didn't tell me about it.
Right. I did that before I did my review.
He was watching the
And I didn't go back
television
and
program.
Just before he did the review.
He was watching the TV
2
show
seconds
Maverick.
before he did the review.
Yeah.
Mars is looking at the Maroney and go, "Oh, I don't have a Maverick. I have a Bronco Raptor."
Oh, God. All right.
How'd that go again, Don?
He's practicing.
He's practicing to sit on the porch
Oh, I was waiting for you to say something
in
else.
Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
Yeah. All right.
Or was that Kentucky? Where was
We have a
Tennessee
special
factory.
Hey, we have a special guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Alina Abakarova.
All right, cool.
I think she does some ice skating on the sides and some
Let's
gymnastics.
let her pronounce her name. Before we
Correct.
get in
Great
trouble.
idea.
Correctly.
Before we get in trouble.
Because I'll screw it up. And
Mike-
then
Oh,
I'm going to
you-
turn around and blame it on
Yeah, I know
Mars.
we always
And you have never heard it screwed up like I do whenever I say it.
Well, here, you say it.
Okay, moving on.
I already got your pronunciation in my mind, so it's tainted now.
You got mine?
Well, it's tainted. Okay.
No,
let's not
let's
even
not
go
go
there,
there.
shall we?
We've completely lost control.
10 minutes after we started.
We haven't even started yet. Are you kidding? It's only 2 minutes after the top of the hour.
I was thinking
Oh, my gosh.
8:02.
Yeah. Well, it should be about 11:02. Anyway,
I just
So-
want to breathe, though, too.
do you?
There you go.
I just want to breathe.
Yeah.
Hemmings Marketplace, Sold Cars Roundup. I love these things. I hope I don't bore you with them, but to see what some of the cars have sold for.
Too late.
Okay, well, never mind then. Go ahead.
No,
Your
let's see.
turn.
Let's see what some of those cars
No, go
sold
ahead.
for. 'cause
No, you-
every now and then
no,
you have,
it's
you have
your
an
turn.
Oldsmobile in there.
Well, I might. I do, actually, there's one here that I didn't highlight, but there's one in here.
You
A
throw it in
69 Oldsmobile 442 convertible.
Ooh,
That'd be good.
35,000.
Nope.
12.
49,875.
The price of
It sure is
some of
pretty.
these, classic muscle cars of the 60s and 70s, when you watch like Mecum and Barrett Jackson, is insane right now.
Well, yeah, it's all money laundering.
But, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you get all worked up at one of those car auctions.
Yeah, well, that's,
Because all of a sudden, you're the star.
well, plus you get all liquored up because they feed you free liquor while you're sitting there bidding.
Yeah. You remember that we did a remote. Don wasn't with us. We did a remote down there at that garage. It was down there in the warehouse district, and sitting at the couch and stuff. Anyway, when we walked through, there was a lowrider there, the only one in the whole place, and we were asking about it since it was the other one there, and the guy had several cars there in his collection. Whenever they delivered it from one of the auctions, they brought 6 cars. He said, "Wait, I only bought 5." "Oh no, you bought 6." And he had enough drinks that he bought a car he didn't even know he bought.
Wow.
I remember doing that remote. They had a Jaguar XJ220 on the lift, working on it with the rear engine assembly out of it.
Yeah.
And they had the Lincoln Indianapolis because we went wandering
Oh.
around in the back looking at some of their inventory. And the Lincoln Indianapolis was a show car from the early 60s from Lincoln. And very, very cool collection of cars that they stored there.
So, here we
So
go.
Tell us more,
You ready?
Don.
How about a 1972 Chevrolet El Camino?
22.
26,250.
That's close.
Depending on the engine that's in it.
Well,
yeah.
exactly. And it looks like it's probably just got a standard 350 with some nice wheels on it, but that's all. How about a 70 Ford Mustang? A 1970 Ford Mustang. Looks like a Boss 302 based on the striping that I see here. I don't have all those details. But based on the price that it's sold for, $86,100.
Oh, that's got to be a real Boss then.
Yeah.
At that price.
Yeah. I mean, you take a look at it and you tell me. Here's one for you, Mars. Ready?
Yeah.
A 1931 Chevrolet Independence.
What is an Independence?
It looks like a Model A. That kind of body style.
Okay.
Get this. It looks beautiful. $17,729. I would buy that.
Probably 10
Original
times,
type.
10 times its original price.
Well, yeah, we can't judge that, but I mean, really, it's a beautiful two-door coupe. It's nice. How about, here's one that you can relate to, Jeffrey.
Okay.
A 1972 De Tomaso Pantera.
Oh, small bumper car too.
Yes.
72.
How much?
47.
I was thinking around that.
89,250.
Oh.
What? It's crazy what that car is going for these days.
And this is
Why?
Hemmings?
There really wasn't that many of them, I don't think.
And again, that was an Italian imported car that was sold by the select Mercury dealers around the country.
$89,000 for a car that's just okay. It's got big tires on the back of it. And
That's about it.
Yeah, it's
Cool
It's got
mid-engine car with 351 Cleveland.
Like a Lambo front
And it was
end.
one
and
of
all
It's
that.
got a Cleveland steamer in it. I'll be 2000 Ford Thunderbird. 2004 Ford Thunderbird.
That's
I can't imagine it brought
17.
that much. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say
maybe
12.
20.
14.8.
Oh.
And the problem was it was just blah looking.
Well, it didn't have Suzanne Summers in it.
It was just blah looking, and it had no power, none. I remember when it first came out, they all excited about it at Ford.
Did you get one to drive?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, does nothing for me.
Well, we should have put Jeff in there for the blonde wig. And
Now,
maybe that would've
Mars,
been better.
here's something for you to put out the fires on the N Wheel Time Car Talk Show. A 1929 Ford Model AA fire truck. What would that sell for? What would your guess be?
Have a clue.
18.
18. You're right. 17,850 is what it sold for. Jeffrey.
Yep.
A 2006 Porsche Cayenne.
Ooh.
I don't know what's wrong with it or why, but it sold for $7,000.
Yeah, it's probably bent.
That's what.
Well, either that or, that's who we were talking with somebody last week or the week before about how as these high-end European cars are sold, that a lot of people will sell them just before one of the big maintenance intervals happens.
Oh,
yeah.
that could be.
And those
That
big
was,
maintenance
who was
intervals
that? Was it Woody that we were talking to?
might have
It
been.
might have been Woody, yeah.
But how they'll sell them just
Oh, yeah.
before that big,
Yeah.
maintenance interval
I
happens.
fly in a helicopter that is relatively new. I don't know, 4 years old. It's coming up on a major maintenance interval.
$200,000.
$750,000.
Holy moly.
$750,000.
Almost equal to
Maintenance.
your annual salary.
Yeah.
We need to get that out by
Don't
4
I
o'clock.
wish?
Gotta have it done by 4 so we can get back out.
A 1950 Mercury, a lead sled.
Oh,
But is it a lead sled or is it a 50
No,
Merc?
it's a 50 Merc.
62,000.
No. If it's a 50 Merc,
62,000.
I'm going to go for 22.
Yeah, I'll say 28.
Drum roll, please. Price sold was $12,600.
Oh, we're all way off.
Wow.
And it looks pretty good. Now, I don't know what it looks like.
Gene Winfield would have paid that for that.
Yeah. But it may be, Swiss cheese rust underneath it. I don't know.
You'd have put that in the paint.
Now, for you, Conrad, I have selected one of those off-road fire trucks that they fight the forest
Yukon Rad.
that they fight the forest fires with. that I've
Only
thought
you can
about.
prevent forest fires.
Uh-huh. So I don't know, probably a 1-ton chassis. Okay. It's a 1988. Well, here it is. It's a 1988 Ford F350.
Okay.
So I was right. It's a 1-ton. Sold price with all the lights, the side things in the back, utility
Hoses.
box, hoses, the whole 9 yards. $21,000.
Wow.
And
Hey, what are you driving to work today?
Fire truck.
And you lived in one of those parts of California that worry about fires, that'd be a good investment.
Yeah, and you could dress up like a fireman and drive it. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
you can wear your long coat.
Yeah.
I dress up like a fireman quite frequently.
And wave your hose around.
Yeah,
I didn't go that far.
we don't see him on any calendars.
Yeah,
though.
watch out for your spigot.
Oh my gosh! I think that this is I think it's a kit car, but a 1965 Backdraft Racing Cobra.
Backdraft. This,
But it's 1965. It wouldn't have been a kit car. That would have been a real, honest to God Cobra, wouldn't it? 65 model.
You would think.
Well, 65 was the years that Cobras were being made.
65
That-
Backdraft Racing Cobra sold for $99,700. That's got to be an
Okay.
original thing.
Can't, no,
in
not-
Backdraft, isn't that a kit car company?
Let's see.
There you go.
I've heard of that.
While you're looking at that, this one had Jeff Zekin written all over it. This is you, buddy.
I'm waiting.
Ready?
Yep.
A 1992
I'm in already.
Buick Roadmaster
Oh.
station wagon.
Oh, yeah.
With the wood on the side of it.
Yeah, it's still in the crate.
Now, here's the real kicker. Are you ready?
12 grand.
Conrad, guessing?
I'll say 15.
Mr. Mars is are you paying attention down there?
Yeah, I'm thinking like 26.
$6,500. Jeff.
Plinko.
See,
Yeah.
we could take a collection.
Where's the
and-
scanner?
And that shared the platform with the Chevy Caprice.
Yes, station wagon.
Mhm. Oh, God, I love it. I'm the clever.
Look at this. Look at it. It
For
looks
clout.
beautiful. Looks beautiful. Of course, who's to know? But $6,500.
I'm going to keep this.
Could have been yours, Jeff.
Could have been. I got a birthday coming up.
And last but not least, on the Hemmings Motor News sales for the week before, a 1968. Now, here's the reason that I bring this up. Okay. I had a school teacher. Her name was Mrs. Rogers. I loved Mrs. Rogers, 5th grade teacher at Andy Anderson Elementary.
It was a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It really was. When she was the teacher, ooh. Yeah. And so she had this car. Ready? A 1968 Volvo P1800S.
Cool car.
It's a 2-door sport coupe, a Volvo.
Wow.
What do you think that car sold for?
31.
Close. 23,100.
Cool
But
little car,
that's a
Let me
cool
see.
little car.
Very cool little
Yeah.
car.
A 2-door sport
yeah.
coupe. It's
Almost looks like a Bond car.
it's a 2-seater.
Almost looks like a Bond car.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think they did use this in one of the Bond movies. I'd say probably size similar to like a Carmen Ghia.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, but it had long hood, short back deck. I mean, it was just it just.
Sort of like Mrs. Rogers.
I don't know about that. I don't recall that part of it. I know that
But he remembers her fondly.
I remember her car. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wonder if she's still alive.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but wow. Yeah. Okay, so that's my contribution for the past 10 minutes on the In Wheel Time Car Show. Mr. Mars, what did you bring to the table today on the show and tell?
On that Backdraft Roadster?
Yeah.
That is a kit car out of South Africa. The kit costs $51,000.
But a 1965 kit
that's,
car?
Well-
that's just what it's kitted after. Not
That's kind of what I'm
not
thinking.
that it was a 65 build.
Oh, the accoutrement put
Yeah, I
into
think
it.
that's what
I
it's
see.
modeled after.
I got you. So it is
You know,
a kit
kind of
car.
like a factory 5, which they probably do one of the highest end.
I've always
Cobra kit
wanted
cars.
to buy a kit car and put one together. You know, page 47, you start to put the wheels on it or whatever the case may be. My biggest fear is wiring.
Exactly.
That's my
Well,
biggest
and then
fear.
you got the parts tree. You got to cut all the parts off of.
That
you
ain't
gotta-
quite like that. Not that kind of a
Oh,
kit car.
Well, you got to
Wrong kit
think.
car.
I think is it painful wiring?
Painless.
Painless wiring. They probably build a lot of harnesses,
Yeah,
for specific kit
they
cars.
do. I'm sure they do.
And it's all color coded.
Yeah.
So you got to be a real dummy to mess
or
that up.
colorblind.
Or
Well,
colorblind.
Believe me, there's a lot of people who can't plug in a wire.
Well, I think the advantage,
Let's talk about
the
a scanner.
advantage of the kit car would be that you don't have to have all the computers and stuff like you got it in a regular car. It's a whole lot simpler wiring setup.
Perhaps. It depends on the kit.
Yeah, if you're going to stuff an LSA supercharged
which is required.
motor in it,
It's
you know,
required
it
to
comes
do
with
that.
its own computer
And you
and
gotta tub
wiring
it out.
harness.
Yeah, but
And you don't have
that's
to tub out a
but that's
Cobra, it's
strictly for
already
the engine.
tubbed
It's
out.
not like you got to run your whole car through that computer.
True.
Just buy you a plane.
Make it
and
as complicated or as simple as you want.
But then
That's the kit.
how do you get it to pass state inspection?
You don't.
Well, you come over to Jefferson County where I live, and you don't have to have anything shoved up your tailpipe to get it
I
past
beg your
Easy.
pardon. Hey,
Easy.
hey. You talking about?
Talking about Nederland.
Yeah,
That's right.
Oh, then it's okay.
but I don't know what the rules are in Texas when it comes to
Well, it's
kit cars and how you get them approved.
where do you live, and that determines what inspections.
Maybe
required.
Sergeant Woodard can help us out with that.
I don't know as if he's an expert at kit cars.
Well, just the years and
Well, I imagine there's
inspections.
some exclusion to homemade vehicles.
Well, there's a process you got to go through to get it titled first if you're
Right.
building it from scratch.
Well, that information would be available online, I would assume.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I remember when we used to build dune buggies, we
Well,
would register it as the Volkswagen, you
Right.
know, a modified Volkswagen.
Well,
So
and
it was a lot
that's
easier.
exactly what I was going after, because there is a company that apparently has bought the Myers-Manx name, and they are rebuilding this Myers-Manx body. I don't know what chassis it's on, but it looks really good. They got, the glitter gel coat, the
Oh,
whole
I was going
stuff.
to say it's probably still going to bolt to a VW pan.
The pictures I saw, I'm trying to get a hold of them and see if we can get them on the show.
I don't
but
know. Did I send you that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whether, because those old Volkswagen cars that you would typically cut up.
Few
to-
and far between.
Yeah, exactly. And you wouldn't want to cut it up now because it's probably worth more than you could ever do with
Yeah.
a Myers-Manx body on
Well,
it.
if you look at the pictures, though, it looks like the old Volkswagen exhaust pipe and the Volkswagen front end up underneath that body on that green one.
Well, they also put Corvair motors in some of those Myers-Manx things. They had apparently some sort of conversion kit that you could mount it back there. It was easy to do because the Corvair clearly was a rear engine car. But how fun. I'd like to do that.
Build a kit
But
car.
that's never going to happen. So I guess I could just forget that pipe dream.
Oh boy.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, please shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for the events calendar, and Conrad has that.
So, of course, we're getting back into the good weather, so there's always lots of stuff going on. This afternoon from 11 to 1 is the Kema monthly meetup at the Voodoo Hut in Kema, Texas. The Voodoo Hut.
Yeah, but then you got to
So bring
fight
your-
that awful
bring your own-
146 construction, which
bring your
is
own
a
chicken.
nightmare.
Oh, yeah. And then this weekend is up at the Conroe Convention Center.
Yep.
Lone Star Throwdown.
Lone Star Throwdown because my office now is in the Woodlands, and when I pulled into the
Your office is in the Woodlands? I thought you were working out of the house.
No, I'm still training. I'm still in training, so I go to the Woodlands every day. And there was a bunch of high-rise, the lifted trucks were at the hotel right there by Central Market, Hughes Landing.
Mm-hmm.
So you could tell Lone Star Throwdown was
Is
in
ready
town.
to go.
And then from 5 to 7 p.m. tonight is a Splendora car meet off of FM 2090. And also tonight is Saturday Night Vibes Car Show at the Detail Garage, and that's off of South Gulf Freeway. Motown in downtown, that's in Killeen, Texas. Classic car only show.
Killeen.
Well,
I'm not driving to Killeen for
we have a worldwide reach here. We
International.
actually have somebody that was watching the show that was in the Bahamas that had posted on Facebook.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, let's get an invite and do a remote.
Yeah, let's
down
go there.
I mean, see ya.
So tomorrow is the benefit car show at Gillow Toyota in Conroe off of 45. Cars, cocktails at Little Woodrow's off of TimberTech and Tomball. That starts at 11 a.m. and goes to 3 p.m.
I have a kind of a little bit of a problem with car shows and cocktails. I assume that you're going to
Well,
drive
I
the
would
car
assume
there.
people are responsible, and hopefully they're responsible in what they
It's for
do.
your passenger.
Passenger, okay.
And then Sunday nights at Freddy's, up at Freddy's Steak Burger off of FM 1960, right near Eldridge. That's the one that's closest to me. And I brought the rally out. I have the rally home. Everything
Yay.
works.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It starts
Conrad's
and
got the
runs.
rally back working again.
And I was going to bring it next weekend to Hemi Hideout.
Oh my gosh, we're excited.
Yeah, very.
Are you?
Oh yeah,
And it wasn't near as bad as you thought it would be.
The steering column fixed relatively easy. It was replacing the steering gearbox that about made me choke, because the steering gearbox leaked like a sieve, and about as quickly as you poured it in the top, it leaked out the bottom. So they
Wow.
put a new steering gearbox in for me.
What that set you back? 1,000?
For the part alone, not even including the
Oh
labor.
my gosh! Was it an OEM part?
Yes, it wasn't bought from General Motors, but it was an OEM replacement part.
Like a new old stock kind of thing.
And then happy hour at in Pearland at the Takis Tex-Mex is March 1st from 3 p.m. to whenever you go home.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mars has a review of We Don't Know What. He's going to surprise us.
Surprise!
Well, you said bring
All
something
right,
to
Mars,
the
let it
table.
rip.
Here we go.
So I'm talking about the 2023.
No, you're going to talk
I'm
about
going
it.
to talk about the 2023 Ford Maverick XLT Tremor. Now, this is part of the first generation of the new wave of Maverick that's come out. And of course, like most things, if you look back at Maverick, James Garner versus Mel Gibson type thing, this is a little bit bigger. It's newer. It's a little more modern than what the old Ranger was. That was a small, small pickup, really like subcompact in today's world. Because if you look at it, you got the F-150, and then you step down to the midsize Ranger, and then you step down to the smaller Maverick at the compact truck level. So this is a crew cab. It's available in 3 trim levels: the XL, the XLT, and the Lariat. And you can add the Tremor package to the XLT or the Lariat, either one. And so this is a smaller pickup truck. Seats, you can put 4 adults in it. I think somebody might try and put 5 in there, but y'all all better all be really good friends. So the Tremor package, what it does, it brings an off-road suspension to the vehicle. So it's lifted up some. It's got underbody plates. We used to call them skid plates. Well, no, I was trying to read my writing because they don't call them
Don't
skid
do
plates.
that.
Yeah, I know. It's got a transmission cooler on it. It comes with 17-inch aluminum wheels, including a full-size spare. And a couple of the other things, it's got the LED headlamps up front with automatic highs. And they actually, if you turn your windshield wipers on, it also activates the headlamps. So, if it's raining or whatever
'cause
reason
it's
you
a
need.
state law. You got to have the headlights on.
Yeah,
when it
so
rains.
it's really cool. And, of course, it's got the Tremor badging on it. Now, you get to the inside of it. It had the cloth bucket seats up front, had a rear bench seat that flipped up, had storage under the seat. They really did a good job of putting storage, small storage places in this vehicle. The door panels got a different type of armrest on it so that you can fit a larger water bottle in it. A lot of plastic here for the off-road world. Got an 8-inch center stack with a touch screen. You're going to find your rear view camera, all your convenience controls there. It does have USB A and C in it for all the modern guys that have all the different media stuff that they want. So again, a lot of storage solutions, including under the rear seat. When you pull it up, you can slide up underneath there and put a lot of stuff under there. Now, the Tremor comes with the optional 2.0-liter turbo engine. Now, this thing has 250 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque, and it's backed by an 8-speed automatic. And again, the Tremor is the all-wheel drive version. Set up like this thing can tow 4,000 pounds, and it'll haul 1,500. So it's basically hauling a half-ton
donkey.
Yeah, I mean, it'll haul quite a bit that you go to put in it. Now, the EPA says you should be looking at 23 in the city, 30 on the highway, combined for 25. Now, I drove this thing 336.7 miles and got 21.5 miles per gallon over the course of that. So it's got plenty of get up and go when you're on the go. As an idle, it could use a little more, but once it gets rolling, this thing will run. Got plenty of power for off-roading and stuff, particularly around here down in the sand and the mud. But it does ride and drive like a truck. So it's got a little bit of a choppy ride to it, but it's got a lot of glass. The cab, one thing I really liked about it, there's a lot of glass so you can see really well around it, which would be good if you're going off-roading
on
it.
the beach?
Not out on the beach. I just went down some dirt roads and stuff around there to the house. Didn't have time to go all the way down there, but I can see where it would be a lot of fun out there. Now, again, this is another one of the vehicles that we didn't have a full-blown Monroney on it. So I had to go out to the Ford.com and did some shopping.
Nice.
And you can actually get into a base model Maverick, the XL version, for $22,595 if you just want to go in there and get one. But you step up to the XLT, which is the base package that this trimmer was on. It starts at $24,855 off of the Ford.com sales website. So we kind of built up the car. We actually put the trimmer package on it and went through and made sure all the options were on what we matched what we had on our documentation, and it came up to $33,835, which I thought was a really good price for that vehicle. And again,
but it is a pickup truck.
It is a pickup truck. It's kind of like a unibody type pickup truck because there's no separation between the cab and the bed. So it looks like a unibody, kind of like some of the
like a Honda Ridgeline,
like a Santa Cruz or a Honda Ridgeline. And so in that sense, it's not really a pickup truck, but it is. It rides and drives like a truck, and it functions
like an El Camino.
It's a smaller version, yes, absolutely.
You said it takes a larger water bottle. Is that a brown water bottle they can put in there?
I do believe I could fit a full-size brown water bottle into that compartment. I was really surprised at how much room was there in that door panel. In fact,
it's in the door panel.
Yeah, one of the
console.
No. One of the grandkids even said, "Well, why is the door armrest only half?" Well, that's because that it gives enough room to put that bottle in and up and down in it.
Gotcha.
All right. Put a whole handle in.
All right.
Yes, you could if you wanted to.
All right. Thank you so much for the Ford Maverick. The N-Will Time Car Talk Show, available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for N-Will Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and nwilltime.com. 30-minute podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The N-Will Time Car Talk Show continues right after this. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod, Classic, Resto-Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupe Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Real Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. From Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we speak with Sparkinator Bobby Sparkman about the upcoming Hot Rod Tour of Texas. And later, we look at the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong, we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us.
Pop.
Pop, that's right. Let's go live and direct right now to the Duck Dynasty Hot Rod. It's Bobby Sparkman, along with his friend Jeremy, to talk about the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Yay. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Yay. Morning, fellas.
Well, I hope that you like the introduction.
Absolutely. Y'all killing it.
yeah. Or we're going to kill you is what's going to happen.
We leave a lot of dead things behind us.
Well, so I have to ask, how are things going with getting it all together for the Hot Rod Tour of Texas last weekend of April?
It is going fantastic. We sold out on all the vehicle registrations within the first week. We still got quite a ways to go, but we're going to give you guys the full tour this morning.
The tour of like the stops along the way, and
we're going to give you guys all the stops this morning.
But wait, you said you sold out. How many is that?
300 vehicle passes, and we're up to a little over 600 total participants.
You sound excited.
We are.
Do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Again?
Absolutely. We did it last year.
Well, yes, I know. I was there. I particularly last year, and I've talked about this before.
You're always talking about it.
The one particular stop that was kind of unexpected because somebody had to use the bathroom, and everybody mobbed this little bitty in the middle of nowhere.
Probably had their biggest sales day in history.
Absolutely. I wanted to get back. I asked the woman, I said, would you like me to help you? Could you? I said, sure. What do you want me to do? If you could just get everybody lined up. I said, okay, sure, no problem. It was tons of fun, but yeah, it was kind of a...
So you were the line monitor. Felt like you were back in middle school.
Only just for a little...
We had about 150 employees that day working at that convenience store.
I know we did. Yeah, we really...
Awesome.
Yeah, that lady was in there by herself, and all of a sudden,
they were very happy.
Everybody poured in. It was tons of fun. So I assume that we're going to be headed kind of at least by that place again?
Nope.
We're not going there. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you now.
She quit and sold the business.
yeah, with our stop.
She retired after that day.
Yeah, no doubt.
Close it down.
So where are we going?
All right, I'm going to give you guys the quick rundown. We're going to, on Thursday the 27th, April 27th, is the kickoff party in Victoria at Aerocrafters, the same place we had it last year with the live music by the Crowbars Band. Great time. And then Friday morning, April 28th, we will depart at 8:30 a.m. from Velocity Power Sports, the same place we met up last year.
Yep.
That'll be Friday morning. We're going to make a stop at the CY Distillery outside of Seguin for some
distills
tastings.
Uh-huh.
Really cool deal. A demonstration on how the brewery or the distillery works. Awesome host. He went to California and picked up a 59 Ford pickup to join the tour. Drove it back from California to Texas, and he's going to join the tour with us in that truck.
That's cool.
Very cool. What's the name of that distillery again?
CY
Distillery.
Okay.
And they make 5 different brews. They make vodka. They make a whiskey. They make something like a
Kahlua,
like a
Irish
Kahlua.
cream, and like a cinnamon liquor.
Oh, so
Good stuff.
you get a Shirley
Wobble
Temple.
water.
Get a Shirley Temple there.
Good stuff. And they'll be doing samplings, and you can purchase bottles or whatever you want, or merch, whatever you want from those guys. They'll be there. They'll have plenty of people set up for us there. And then from there we'll depart and head into New Braunfels for lunch. Lunch will be on your own. We had a lot of people wanting to go to different restaurants in New Braunfels. Lots of great ones. We'll post up some of our favorites restaurants there in New Braunfels on the website soon. From there, we will meet up at Sampson's Performance and Restoration in New Braunfels at 3 p.m. for a shop stop. And I believe you guys are going to make a stop there as well, correct?
Yes, sir. We're going to have Don's going to be running with you boys, and the rest of us are going to be there and set up, and we're going to try and do some interviews and put together some stuff for our show on Saturday morning.
Awesome. And we'll wrap that up around 5:30. Everybody can go take a break, do what they need to do, and we will meet back at the Stars and Stripes Drive-In Theater again. Everybody had a great time there. Just before dark, we'll meet up there.
And by the way, I want to just interject here.
Here we go.
We're going to.
If Don volunteers to play the violin, don't let him.
I was going to say the movie we selected this year is Hollywood Nights.
Lawrence of
That's
Arabia. He went to fight
There
the
you go.
Turkish. Uh-huh.
If you haven't seen it, it's a really cool show.
No, it's not.
We have seen it.
Some pretty crazy comedy in it, and a lot of cool cars.
Yes.
But that'll be Friday night at the Stars and Stripes Drive-In Theater, and then from there we will wrap up that night after watching the movie. We will meet up the next morning at
Gateway Classic Cars.
Gateway Classic Cars, just down the road from the Buc-ee's. They're going to host our meetup point, complimentary coffee, and possibly some donuts.
In true Texas fashion, you give the directions near the Buc-ee's.
Yeah, you have to.
That's it.
Go to
That's it.
Buc-ee's and turn left.
Everybody knows where the
That's it.
Buc-ee's is.
That's it. So that'll be our meetup point on Saturday morning, and we will meet there, and we will depart from Gateway at about 8:30 a.m. Majority of the mornings we're going to depart at 8:30 a.m. sharp.
That way we can make all of our stops and it's quite a bit of driving.
And from Gateway, we're going to wind our way up through the hill country, and we're going to make by popular request, we're going to make a quick stop over at Luckenbach, Texas.
Yep.
We got a lot of out-of-state people joining us this year. They had kind of expressed some interest in stopping by there and checking it out. We got
Barbecue.
plans with them to
See
make a
Willie
quick
Whalen
stop.
and the boys?
There you go. Have a quick soft drink, some water possibly, water and hold there.
Mm-hmm.
From Luckenbach, we're
Fredericksburg.
going to wind up to Fredericksburg. We're going to make a stop at the wine garage. A little stop for the ladies. We heard a lot of ladies were felt left out last year, so we're going to make a wine garage stop there. It's a cool little place. We've got a little car museum inside of it and a little winery right there. We'll make a stop there. And then from the wine garage, we'll depart and we will head up to Temple.
For Little River again.
For Little River again at the Nostalgic Dragway for some racing time, and we're expecting Don to get that Corvette on the track this year.
He's going for a 12 this year.
Yeah, Leslie's going to go with me, so it ought to be fun. I'm going to try to get her to get on the drag strip. with
Ooh,
the
that would be
Corvette.
fun to
nice,
watch.
yeah.
Yeah. So, looking forward to that.
Behind the wheel, right?
We got that set up again. Mike and his crew over at Little River have just been super awesome about hosting us. They're going to try to get some of the gassers out there as well this year to put on a little show for us. We'll have a little break there, time for everybody to check in their hotels. We left a little gaps here and there for hotel check-ins this year to
Eat dinner.
have lunch where everything's not so rushed. Then after Little River, we will stay the night. Most people are going to stay the night in Temple because Little River's kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Get George
and then
to
we will
come
meet
out.
up at
The Temple Mall Sunday morning.
same mall we met at last year, but it'll all be posted on the website, the Temple Mall. only one of them there in Temple. They're not hard to find us.
We're going to meander around a little bit, end up at SoCal Speed Shop in Waco. Got to stop there that morning.
What is it again?
SoCal.
The SoCal Speed Shop in Waco.
Oh, yep.
Yep, we'll be stopping there. And
That's another easy one to find. It's right by the Magnolia Silos.
Yep. There, the Dr. Pepper Museum.
That'll give the ladies something to do, is go to the Magnolia Silos.
They're closed on Sunday.
No. Maybe
Good
not.
choice, guys. Yes. Yeah.
There it is. See you later.
It was a great choice of a day for that stop.
Yeah, stop and get a picture on the way by.
Yes, exactly. SoCal's got some stuff they're working on that stop that are going to make it a pretty cool stop for folks. I can't release that information yet, but they're going to have some really neat stuff that's going to be a cool stop for us. And then we will depart from there, and we will head to Roadside American Museum in Hillsboro, Texas, which will be our final stop, number 11. We stopped there last year, but it was really, really short. So we're going to make a little more of a stop there this year.
There's a lot to see there.
Yeah, and a lot to see there. And Roadside America and Hillsboro are really, really opening up their arms to us to make that final stop there. And we'll do some awards and stuff like that. Literally at majority of these stops, probably 90% of them, 80 to 90% of them, we will be giving out some prizes and some pretty cool stuff, some epoxy garage floor kits, some ice chest again, different things this year on the tour. So
That's
it'll
great.
be really, really interesting. Good trip.
We've had the
We've
Roadside
got a
American.
lot of. Excuse me?
I was going to say we've had the Roadside American Museum on the show a couple of times.
Yep.
Kind of touring.
Yep.
Fascinating place.
Carol's a real nice guy.
Carol is an awesome supporter of pretty much anything automotive. He's a really, really great guy.
I want to know, are we going to make the run through that little town where the entire town came out with the fire truck? No, we're not going to go there.
No, we're not passing through Yoakum. Actually, they asked if we were.
But the Chamber of Commerce director is coming on the tour with us.
Oh, they are.
And they sold the fire truck.
Now, next year, Yoakum is going to be on the route. They will be on the route next year.
Okay. Well, we need to get the Templeonians to come out and say hello to us while we go to Temple.
Yep.
Templeonians.
Yes.
It's like Babylon.
But we are going through some different small towns this time. So
Do they know we're coming?
They do.
Yep.
They do.
Okay.
And we got merch still available. This is what the new hats will look like. Something similar to this.
Do you
That
have
is all.
a 7 7/8?
Yes, they're universal.
Yeah, well, so the Universal doesn't go to 7 7/8. Let me tell you.
Because Don has a big head because he's a new
there's
grandfather.
A great, big, humongous pumpkin head that I have doesn't fit in Universal caps. Yeah.
And we're also working on some different cups.
Ooh.
Well,
Nice.
that'll fit a cup holder.
Okay,
We're,
so
we're doing we're doing these kind of cups. We're doing coffee cups. We're doing ladies' shirts are in the works. Actually, being some of the samples are being done this morning.
You know, we've got some stuff back here behind me that we've acquired from other guests and other shows we've done.
Yeah.
We don't have anything up here from the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Just letting you know.
We will get y'all something to hang on that wall.
I mean, we've actually got the chili pepper trophy.
Yep.
Up there.
We've got in-wheel time shot glasses.
Shot glasses, sometimes known as sample cups.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I want to know, do we have lunch stops planned?
let's see. We have.
Were you on your own in New Braunfels for Friday, huh?
We're on in Brussels. I believe Y Garage will have food trucks.
Okay, good.
Cool.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Temple will be, on your own. And
Yeah.
then.
But Lukenbach, is that a lunch stop?
Yeah, it's a morning stop. Yeah.
Okay, so Fredericksburg would be the lunch stop then.
Right.
Yeah, either Fredericksburg or they got food at Lukenbach, or if you wanted to go in there, there's several places. We try to leave it up to every individual that wanted to. A lot of these people haven't been in these areas, so they want to try different places.
Yeah, they want to explore.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you can't
Absolutely.
make 700 people happy with the same thing at the same place. Is that what you're saying?
I know.
That
It's hard to believe.
We tried doing food trucks last year, and most of them either didn't do real well or they were extremely overwhelmed, like in Shiner, the Shiner Brewery.
Yes.
They were
Oh, yeah.
extremely overwhelmed.
Yep.
I can see that. Yeah, 300 cars pull up, 700 people pull up. You're trying to serve them all within an hour.
I'm
going
going
to
to bring a loaf of bread and a thing of bologna and pass that out if that'll work.
Yeah, everybody. We recommend everybody to bring some snacks and stuff like that. So
He's going to.
we're traveling on and off. Some of the stops are an hour and a half run, and some of them are a couple hour runs. The long.
Yeah, Don will wrap it in aluminum foil with some American cheese and be selling grilled cheese sandwiches from under the hood of his car.
Yep. And we also have our shirts this year. Are the artworks being done again by the fantastic Kate at Asphalt Canvas?
Yep.
Awesome job. She did the armadillo, which is similar to what's on the cup. Little armadillo with the wheels.
Yeah.
Little different what's on the T-shirt, but it's pretty close to this.
Yeah, she unveiled that on the show.
Yep.
Now, are you and the wife going to be driving separate cars like you did last year?
We've got. I'm going to be in the Edsel again, the police car.
Yep.
Yep, I'll be in my yellow truck again.
Jeremy in the yellow truck, and we've got my son and his girlfriend are going to come along and haul the merch wagon. We're loaded down this year.
The merch wagon.
There you go. I love it.
Wagon.
I like it.
We're truly pretty well loaded down. I think we've got about 700 or 800 shirts sold already.
Well, I have a request or at least, or inquiry. Let me put it that way. Are we going to try to keep the Corvettes together, or are they just going to be on their own, scattered throughout?
We'll put you in responsible to coordinate Corvette.
Corvette what do you call it?
Don's the
Corvette
Corvette
rally.
coordinator.
Coordinator?
Yeah, you're the Corvette coordinator. Hey, that's
Corvette Corral.
That's a good one there.
Well, because, last year there were several of us, and we just, by happenstance, wound up together, and we kind of, looking out for one another, that sort of thing.
Because you guys all thought you were the only ones there.
We didn't.
He's the vet herder.
No, there was a lot of Corvettes.
Well, I would
There's a lot-
imagine. I would
there's a lot
imagine
coming
that you'll
this
have
year.
lots of Corvettes. I mean, why not?
There is. There's
Corvette
San-
Club of San Antonio?
Yeah, the San Antonio Corvette Club they're actually signed on as a sponsor. They're bringing quite a few of them with them.
Hot diggity dog.
Yeah.
So,
Great group.
so when my
They
car
were-
breaks
they were
down, at
always-
least I got somebody that may know what they're doing.
Don, you may remember they were the ones that were kind of in the middle of the pack that for some reason their tires kept smoking. I don't know what was going on back there.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That's why you kept hanging out back there at the back. All right. So, is the Black Coal Garage guys going to be there?
Yep, there's about 16 of them coming.
Oh my God!
Those are your buddies.
Is that the diesel guys?
The diesel guys. Those were the guys that I found at the Aerocrafters place, and I was sitting there by myself, and I could see the couples, hanging around, and the guys would go off, and the girls were there, and I said, "Do you guys mind if I come in and bust this?" "Oh no, come on, come sit with us."
They're a friend of everybody's.
Yeah, exactly. And I had more.
Well, Don
fun.
was just wanting to hang out with all the women that were sitting there by themselves.
Yeah, that's it. But the Black Coal Garage guys, that is so much fun. What a great group of guys. And I'll tell you what, I have never seen a hot rod diesel like those guys can put together.
Well, you're converting your vet into a diesel, aren't
No,
you?
I'm not. Thank you.
They're some high horsepower guys, no doubt. Twin compound turbo setups. They're bumping some serious horsepower.
I know. And I saw the guys on the drag strip with those things. I'm going, oh my gosh, they can beat my Corvette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, are the 18-wheeler guys going to be at the drag strip? Do you know?
If they don't have any loads that day, they said they're coming to drag.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's tons of fun.
I saw the video.
Yeah, it is tons of fun.
They're gonna try to meet up with us again in New Braunfels and cruise with us for a little while, and then
that'd be
all the way
cool.
up to the Temple and get on the drag strip again and have some fun.
Well, I have to tell you
really
that
fast.
I have a friend from grade school. I've known this guy. He's a friend of the show. He's probably listening, watching right now. Name is George Skelton. A lot of history there with that name and his aunt.
Yep.
And anyway, George lives in Temple. He and his wife Twyla. And I will tell you that I want to hopefully hook up with them at some point when we're in the Temple area.
Yeah.
Maybe they can come to the drag strip or whatever. But so, George, if you're listening or watching, come on down. We'll be in Temple on, I guess, Saturday evening.
Of what
Right.
day and month?
And
Day?
that is not
The month?
a private private event. They're kind of hosting us, but anybody that wants to come to Little River is welcome to come and
March
pay your
29th.
$20 entry fee, and you can come on in
April
and whatever the
29th.
fee is for the drag strip and have a good time with all of us.
Yeah, and I was just going to say,
Support the track.
I would imagine that there may be even some car clubs that might not have, be official joining up the Hot Rod Tour, but you don't care, do you?
No, sir.
So,
No, sir. They can make those. There's only a couple of stops that we have that are private to us, but the majority of them are public.
Yeah. Is the Stars and Stripes, is that a public event?
That is private. That one is private.
Okay, so we have our own little clique going at the drive-in, and that's a really nice big drive-in. I was
It is
quite surprised.
Big enough for 300 cars?
Oh, easily, yeah.
What do you boys
They've
sit?
got two other screens that'll hold 600 cars.
Oh, wow.
What are you fellas sitting in right now doing the interview? What are you in?
My 53 Ford.
The 53.
We drove up. We left at 6 o'clock this morning and drove up to Georgetown to the Stephanie Nichols 12th annual Car and Vintage Airplane Show here in Georgetown.
Nice.
We were just talking about it driving up this morning. Every time we've done a podcast with you guys, we've been at some car show somewhere.
I know you have.
in that vehicle, yeah.
I know. We want to be you. That's what we want to be. We're living.
My buddy texted me this morning. He said, "Do you ever work?"
Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't ask it in public, but do you? You do, don't you?
Unfortunately, I do. I have to pay bills. Got to pay bills.
Well, it's great to talk to you guys, and I have to tell you that I'm really excited about joining up again. I've still got last year's sticker on the car, and I assume that we're going to have some stickers again.
That's
Yep, you will love this. You will love the stickers. I've already got them in hand. We're also doing a lanyard with the badge. Black Smoke Garage sponsored the lanyards. It'll be a badge, so we'll punch you in at every stop this year. Instead of having a sign in, you're just going to have to go to the deal and you'll punch in and away you go.
This
That
past
way we can keep track, and it's a different punch for every stop.
And it'll have the driver's name on it, too.
This past week, I was on the highway and I saw, I think it was a C5 Corvette on a trailer being pulled by a big Chevrolet truck, and on each one of the back windows had your sticker on it. It had a Hot Rod Tour of Texas on the Corvette, on a trailer, and on the pickup truck. I don't know where they were going, but I'm thinking they were going to get it right.
They were headed to Victoria.
They're going the other way.
And just so that everybody knows, the little small stickers we did last year were supposed to have been UV stickers. They weren't. The stickers we have this year that are on the website for sale, the big ones and the little ones, are UV, just like the window stickers. They are extremely UV resistant.
I thought of you fellas going down the road.
All right. So, and you can check out anything you want to find on the website is at www.hotrodtouroftexas.com.
Now, are all of the schedule that you just voiced with us, did you put those on the website yet?
Not yet. You guys got the latest news.
Oh, great. Cool. Well,
And I've posted a link to your site.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. And, it's great to talk to you. And if we don't talk to you before then we will see you on the tour on Thursday night, the 27th of April, down at Victoria
Absolutely.
Aerocrafters. Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, I do need to talk to you, though, first part of next week, get some more information about what we're going to be doing over at Sampson and some of that other
Absolutely.
stuff we talked about.
Fantastic.
Jeremy, Bobby,
Yes.
It's always good to talk to you guys. Can't wait for the tour and looking forward to it as always.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for the support.
You bet. Glad to do it.
Gonna be
Call if you
great.
got any updates.
Will do.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Take care.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. Big and beautiful, baby. Big and beautiful. All right. Conrad,
Yes, sir.
I got you have something to do maybe next hour, but let's do it this hour. Shall we? Do you mind? If you don't, then I can do headlines. You want me to do headlines?
We never did racing from the first hour.
Racing calendar? Oh, we didn't do that?
No.
Oh, well, let's do that then.
You got to turn the page.
So March 5th starts, much more of the racing season. You got to remember this afternoon is Fontana for NASCAR, and it'll be the final race there. And then they're going to shut the track down. I'm sure the land is worth more than the track.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
Produces.
Daytona was last week.
Yeah, what'd you think of Daytona at the end?
I liked
Jacked up.
Yeah.
Jacked up.
Oh, the finish?
Jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
No.
I liked Joey Logano's new hair.
So NHRA starts March 9th through the 12th at the Gator Nationals, March 24th at the Arizona Nationals, and then March 30th at the Winter Nationals in Pomona. Again, tonight or tomorrow is Fontana, and March 5th is Las Vegas for NASCAR. March 26th, NASCAR comes to Circuit of the Americas in Austin for the Eco Park Automotive Grand Prix. They're testing Formula One in Bahrain this weekend. And then next weekend, March 5th, is the first Formula One race of the year in Bahrain. IndyCar starts next year. It's next week at St. Petersburg on March 5th. Then March 24th through the 26th is the Texas Mile Spring event at Chaseville in Beeville, Texas. And isn't that where the one of our future guests is going to be?
Coming up. Yep.
Okay, thank you, sir. Electric truck maker Lordstown Motors Corporation said on Thursday it would temporarily stop production and deliveries of its pickup truck Endurance due to performance and quality issues with some components. In a statement, the EV maker said it filed paperwork with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to voluntarily recall the Endurance to address an electrical connection issue that could result in a loss of propulsion while driving. At least it's not a thermal event. Subway announced plans to install EV chargers in BP Products. North America acquired Travel Centers of America, expanding its EV charging goals. Subway? I don't go there anymore.
The restaurant?
Some of the most high-traffic venues in the country, convenience stores, big box retailers, travel centers, and quick-stop restaurants are having an aha moment. Adding electric vehicle chargers on site could bring in new customers to shop while their cars power up and they need all the help they can get at Subway. There's a company that's going to go out of business. Subway announced plans to install EV chargers this week. So if you just wait another couple of years, they'll be out of business and you can move your business right in there and have an EV charger. While BP Products North America acquired Travel Centers of America, expanding its EV charging goals. That's it for this hour of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We've got more right after this quick break. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Resto-Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we talked to Gregory Ditch, auto shop teacher, about his growing program and what makes it successful, and girls in the class.
All right.
Right on.
All right.
The Nissan Kicks It. I'll give you my impression of it. We'll also have the cruise-in calendar, and later Conrad will have This Week in Auto History. I'll have stories making automotive news headlines, too. Just ahead on this portion of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, our live version. Howdy, along with Mike Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us on this Saturday here in Houston, Texas, USA. It's rodeo time. And let's see, rodeo parade starts now or in 30 minutes.
Yep,
it's something like that. 10:30, I don't know.
And it's very warm, very muggy.
So don't be driving downtown because they're going to kick you out.
Last weekend it was freezing or cold, very cold.
It was
here.
chilly, but today I think it's supposed to be 80 this afternoon.
We had the heat on in the studio last week. This week we got the air conditioning on.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but it works for us.
Mess you up.
Yeah.
Could be worse. We could be living up in the Midwest.
Or
yeah, we could.
California.
Or California
Yeah,
this
California.
weekend. Golly. All right.
It snowed in San Diego.
Can you
for
believe
them.
that? I can't
Didn't
believe
Didn't
it.
rain.
Didn't rain. And, it never rains in Southern California. It snows, but it doesn't rain.
Good for them.
All right. His name is Gregory Ditch. He's the auto shop teacher at a growing program. And I was just trying to get a little background about where you are, Gregory. I understand that you're up in the Chicago area.
Yeah, and you can just call me Greg. My mom calls me Gregory, or the judge calls me Gregory. So,
well, that's what I was just giving Gregory. You're up there in Naperville North High School. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, you guys were talking about the Midwest. We're about 40 miles or so west of Chicago. We're in the west suburbs up here. So, yeah, it's freezing cold out there today. So, the best thing, I guess, I lived in Texas for a number of years, and coming up here, we've got this harsh winter, so it locks me in the shop where we're able to get a bunch of stuff done. So that could be why a lot of the kids like doing the autos classes. We have this nice heated shop, and it keeps them from being outside shoveling snow.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been to Brainerd, Minnesota?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I've got, I go to far northern Minnesota to get a lot of my junkyard engines and things, and it's kind of brutal up there.
Well, I will tell you that back in 2006, I was on the NHRA drag racing tour, and one of the highlights of the actual tour for me personally was going to Brainerd, which is in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, right. And they have a thing called the Zoo, and it's a big camping area actually on the road course next to the drag strip. And I will tell you that I have never seen so much creativity when it comes to cars. And I'm thinking, wow, they need to bring this down to Texas. That'll never happen because up there in Minnesota, they have all winter long, besides going ice fishing, to work on their cars, either in the basement or in the shop. And they come up with these most creative things I've ever seen with engines and cars. They run this parade through the Zoo on Friday and Saturday nights. It's absolutely hysterical and very educational.
Yeah, and up here, there's a huge car culture. I grew up, I'm from this area originally, but when I was a kid, my parents moved to Dallas, and then I taught in the Houston area for a while. And it's a very different car culture there than it is here. And you're right. You're sort of stuck in this, you get this cabin fever, and there's not a lot to do if you don't ice fish or don't do some of the harsh winter things. So everybody sort of gets cooped up, and then, when the weather starts to turn, their cars are ready to go, and there's some pretty neat stuff up here. And there's a race I want to go to in Wisconsin that they do the ice drags up there, and maybe next year I'll have a chance to go up there and do it. But I don't know if it's an eighth mile or quarter mile, But these guys get these studded tires, and it's just like bracket racing, but on ice. So, yeah, you got to, if you're a car guy, you know, you have to do something to kill the time up here because.
Well, being an original Wisconsinite from way back, I can say this: the people in Wisconsin are weird. So am I.
Oh, absolutely.
and so that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. So, who do you have sitting next to you?
We've got a
ice skater.
Professional ice skater. Yeah, we caught you earlier coming in here when you were trying to figure out how to pronounce Alina Bakarova, and you're wondering if she's a gymnast or an ice skater. She is from the former Soviet Union, so yeah, we had to pull her off of ice practice this morning for the Olympics. So
I love it. Well, I knew that she was either going to be an ice skater or a ballerina or a gymnast or something like that.
Or a diesel mechanic.
Or a diesel mechanic.
That was our next choice.
Not a very popular sport, doesn't pay very much, so my career was very short-lived.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're here with us this morning because we really want to kind of focus on the shop program up there at the high school and the inclusion of girls. And, you know, I have 2 daughters myself. Unfortunately, I didn't bring them. Well, I drugged them to every car event that I went to, which were plenty, but they just didn't pick up on that. My youngest is an astrophysicist, so I guess that's as close as you can get to car work as you can get. But I will tell you that, I'm always impressed when I see a young lady, especially in school, learning the trade.
Yeah, and it's kind of a weird thing how this started. So I've been at Naperville for 3 years. I came in 2021, and that was the height of the pandemic, and schools were closed, and I had to teach autos online. So that was just, it was miserable. It was bad. And we probably had maybe 2 or 3 girls in the entire automotive program for the whole year. And that's kind of typical of what you see. And most of your schools around here, there's a couple of girls. And then we started opening up after school. So if there was a club or a sport or an organization, the students were allowed to come in after school. So we focused on building this 1995 Mustang for World of Wheels, and this program was so small. We only had like 40 kids, and they hired me to kind of, if I could bring it back, I had a job. If I didn't get the numbers up, then have a nice day, go somewhere else. So I was teaching an engineering class as well, and these kids were really wanting to get hands-on stuff because doing an engineering class online again is just worse than maybe an automotive class. So some of these gals started coming in after school, and they sort of formed their own group. And, when they got the hands-on stuff and realized that most of the mechanical and electrical stuff that we do, or all of it really, all the mechanical and electrical that we do in our auto shop translates into engineering. And that's where I've drawn a lot of the kids from, is that they want to do something practical. So they learn a lot of theory in engineering and they come over. But the girls thing just sort of grew. A few of them would hang out here on Friday nights, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they wanted to start their own thing. And I had this little Chevy S10 pickup in the back of the shop that I've had for a few years, and they sort of adopted it as their own, and it became their thing. And, here we are now where I've got about 200 kids in our automotive program, and somewhere around 15 to 20% is female enrollment. So wow. I don't know official numbers in the area, but I definitely know I'm, if not the biggest, probably one of the larger segments of young ladies in this program. And I have many more of them now as we're going through that are interested in going into the trades and not just taking the class because it's a fun class, which it is, but they are seeing that this is a great field. And Alina could probably tell you a little bit more about, from a lady's perspective, why it makes sense.
Why does it make sense, Alina?
It just does. It's perfect for me because I can't sit still. So I always have to work on something, and this is a great opportunity to have fun and prove yourself. And it's art. To me, it's art.
Well, it is art. And that's interesting that you should say that because I never looked at it that way. But it is, in a way, art. And it's also the engineering aspect of art. And, an S10 pickup, pretty simple to work on for the most part. Yeah. And I would imagine that you guys have – is it running?
No. God, everybody has to ask that hard question.
Sorry.
Is it running yet?
Dodge.
Yeah, sure it runs. It's just too loud. We can't start it up. There's kids in the next classroom. No, so yeah, it's pretty modified, and there's 2 high schools in this district, and there's a guy at the other high school who's LS swapping this Volvo. So it's kind of this competition between him and I, between who is going to get it running quicker or faster, and of course his fired up just a couple of days ago. So, but yeah, it's not the original 4-cylinder anymore. We've had a couple of variants, and I've got a couple of different engines in this truck, but this is an LT1 out of what you would have found in like a C4 Corvette. So it's got a little hotter cam in it and nitrous oxide. So the engine we're figuring it's going to make right around 400 horsepower, and then, add 100 or 200 shot of nitrous, whatever we go with on it, to get it up to 500 or 600 horsepower. The chassis on the truck is not the original chassis anymore. We did what's called a back half, which is popular in drag racing, where they cut the back half of the chassis off, and it's just, instead of a C frame, where if you can imagine, like the metal is just shaped like a C. The manufacturers do that to cut down weight and cost. This is a full box frame from the cab back. It has roll bar on it. The interior's been gutted out on it. The rear axle out of it came out of either a 97 or 98 Ford Explorer. And on the Explorers, the axle on the driver's side is 3 inches longer than the passenger side. So we had to cut the driver's side down 3 inches and use 2 passenger side axles. We had a kid that fabricated a lot of the brackets and mounting on the chassis and the axle. And we're going to run a 273 in it, which is good for land speed racing. I'm just trying to think of, anything you could think of on this truck that you could modify has pretty much been done, and it's all been done by students.
So how do you, where do you start with the students when the school year starts? This is what we're going to do. Let's start with the engine. Yeah. Let's start with the chassis. Let's start with the electrical. Where do you start?
Everywhere. So I have kids that are interested in, and we're just a general automotive program. So we don't necessarily have like a paint shop, a body shop, an engine shop, right? It's a general high school shop class. So I'll have kids that come in and say, I'm really interested in building engines, and great. So, a couple days a week, you guys will tear down an engine and rebuild it. And, we've got some junkyard engines they can practice on, and then we'll have the good engine that they'll finally put together. And we have mentors and partners in the community with people that will come in. Like, we have someone that owns an engine shop, and he'll help the kids assemble the engine and coach them and guide them through.
Cool. Yeah.
Same way with the transmission shop. I've got kids that are like, hey, I bought a car that's got a bad transmission. I want to learn a little bit more. So, if I can't fix it, at least I understand what's wrong. Got kids that want to go into paint and body or restoration. So I just sort of figure out what their interest is. And if they don't know, we just sort of circulate them around a little bit and figure out what they like or what they're good at.
You go with the flow. I think that's a great, that's a great plan.
And that's cool that the kids are doing that, because they do want to learn, and they're thinking, once I fix it, hey, I got a nice little car.
Right. And I used to be a used car dealer. So, my background from a typical auto shop teacher is a little bit different, where a lot of these guys worked in the dealership for a few years. They were either service writers or worked on cars. My background's really different. I kind of came up through racing. I've worked on some smaller NASCAR truck teams and did my own thing, and worked with some land speed racers, which is how this Texas Mile thing came about years ago. We've run it before when I was teaching in Texas, but and then also I had a small little independent used car lot, and I'd have to go to auction, and we didn't sell high-end cars. They were the $3,000, $5,000, $6,000 cars that were basic transportation, and a lot of them had over 100,000 miles. They were 10 years old, so they needed things, and being able to spot that stuff in 30 seconds in the auction lane becomes very important. And I understand most of these kids are going out there and buying cheap cars. So, hey, how can you get this car and fix it up so it either runs good, or, maybe learn how to do some paint correction on it and tune it up. And then maybe you could flip this car, drive it for a year, and then, sort of keep upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. And I've got some kids that have done that.
Well, so Conrad's a big advocate of, teaching kids what to do and how to do it, and get them into the automotive business. It's a great, actually, I think the future is brighter now than it ever has been.
Absolutely.
Because the pay is now getting to where it should have been all along.
Well, depending on how they work and where they work, A flat rate hour is a good pay scale for a technician that can do productive work in a good environment.
Well, and this is an interesting thing. So there's a company up here called Reyes Holdings, and what they do is they maintain the fleets of trucks for like Monster Energy and Coca-Cola and I think McDonald's and some of the big corporations. So basically, they're the transportation people. And what they have realized is they said they were waiting way too long to recruit students or potential mechanics. They were going to places like Lincoln Tech or UTI or WyoTech or wherever it is that they were going. And these the best students coming out already had offers going in.
Oh, yeah.
So they're trying to get with, and this is not just them, but local dealers and other aftermarket people are coming in here trying to get the interest of our students as they come in as 9th graders and 10th graders and try to develop this relationship so that they have an idea of maybe what they want or where to go, or at least like, hey, yeah, this guy's always in here. I've got a relationship with him. So when I have a question, I want to go to my mentor and say, hey, is Diesel Tech the right place for me, or is Paint and Body the right place for me? And what opportunities do you have, or what kind of paid training do you offer, or internships, or whatever it may be? And our school is getting much more proactive, and not just on the auto side, but in the business side and other things.
Getting noticed, yeah.
Yeah, and we don't, when I was in high school, we had a co-op program where we got out early. This district doesn't, but that's one of the things that we're switching to, is we're realizing that our students need the opportunity to get into the workplace. And of anything, and you guys will agree with this, that it's not so much what that kid knows, but the attitude.
Exactly.
And
work ethic is everything.
And not only knowing about the car, but you need to get out in the world to learn about the business side of it too.
Correct. And we had an advisory panel when we were rewriting our curriculum this summer, and we had folks from Toyota and GM and Dent Wizard and just a bunch of other businesses around here that were automotive related. And the one thing that came up is, if you've got a student that has good soft skills, if they report to work on time, they have a good attitude, they dress right, they're professional, they have good communication skills, we'll teach them. We can teach them everything. But if they don't have those skills, they could be the best mechanic in the world. We don't. They're problem. They're toxic for the workplace. So we do focus a lot on soft skills here. We, the meet and greet of the customer, we focus a lot on that. When they come in the classroom, it's it's kind of funny where it's almost like I sold cars for years, and it's, how are you today? What brings you in? And we kind of have this little dialogue like that. So we do focus a lot on the soft skills and the business side. And part of, like with the race team, these students have to interact with some of our partners that provide parts for the shop or some of our projects, and they do media. They get out and have to talk to people and answer questions. So I think that exposure is
well, and working at dealerships, making sure that you can communicate the complaint, cause, and correction on a document is critical to getting paid from the manufacturer's warranty.
I want to hear more about the Texas Mile. I want to find out more about.
We're going to do it at the bottom of the hour, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay. We're gonna focus on
back.
her.
You mind? We're talking soft skills right now.
All right.
And Jeff has
obviously
none.
I don't have any.
He doesn't. He clearly doesn't.
I've only been doing this for all my life.
I have to ask you: do you guys have like a cruise in or something that you're planning toward the end of the school year? Going into May.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So they've always had a car show up here to benefit the autos program, and it was never that big. And last year, for some reason, it was the first year I put on a car show, and we had like 140 cars come in on a Friday morning.
Oh wow!
So we do it. Yeah, it was great. It was just amazing with the number of people and the outreach and support that we got. So the idea was really to kind of promote what we're doing in the auto shop, to let people know that, shop programs are alive. Keep the programs alive, keep them going. They're hard to fill. They're hard to find certified and qualified teachers. They're hard. You have to get out. I have to go out and promote. I go out in the lunchroom and talk to kids and invite them to our shop and tell them to come in after school and check out what we have.
Well, like the band class has got the spaghetti supper. I'm thinking that you guys need to have a taco Saturday with a big bunch of cars show up on a Saturday morning cruise in and have them come and tour the shop and get you some mentorship going there.
Absolutely, and that's what we've done with the car show. The car show, like I said, 140 people came out last year. The local Corvette Club, local Mustang Club, the Model A Club, the Model T Club, the Buick Club, the Cadillac Club, you name it. I mean, I had a car from every decade, from 1920 to 2020. They were here, and we raised, I don't know, $5,000 or $6,000 for our program.
Very nice. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, where it's weird, it's on a Saturday morning. Everybody's like, man, it's like from 10:30 to 1:30. This is an odd time for a car show. But we do it during our 3 lunch periods. And, it's never been this big. We expected 50 or 60 cars. That was our goal. And then, like the week before, it just exploded. And we had so many people here supporting us. And teachers were literally having to shut classes down because kids just weren't coming to class because they're hanging out at the car show. We had taco trucks out here. And, the Army had this inflatable obstacle course out here. So, and that's like probably in December before Christmas even, I was getting emails from people, hey, is the car show coming back? And, this was the best car show of the season. I was like, wow, I've never put on a car show before
Christmas.
So,
wow.
Yeah. I was excited. I was like, wow, man, this is like, this is real. People are excited about it.
The good thing for your students is the jobs they're learning, the tasks they're learning is in super high demand. Be it dealerships or independent shops, they can't find skilled technicians, so, and hopefully you're producing maybe more of a C or a B level technician,
right.
That can go and relatively quickly be an income producer for the shop, as opposed to being an expense for the shop that they're paying on a salary.
Greg, it's great to talk to you. We're out of time for this segment. We certainly appreciate it. We're going to rejoin you guys here in about 10 minutes and talk to Alina about what she's got going on there at the school. Yeah, figure skating.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. So we're going to talk to you guys, and I can't thank you enough for joining us. So hang in there. We'll be back with you guys in just a short while.
Sounds awesome.
All right, Greg Ditch. He is the auto shop teacher up at Naperville North High School. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, don't forget you can always shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for this hour's car review. Had a chance to drive the 2023 Nissan Kicks. What a fun little car this is.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Steve Parrott for letting me drive this thing. 2023 Nissan Kicks comes in 3 trim levels, the S, the SV, and the SR. I reviewed the SR with the CVT transmission in it. It's a mid-sized car, but we call it an extra small SUV. That's my take on it. It seats 5 with limited rear seat legroom. It's small. It's all new for 2018. An attractive Nissan grille, lower valance, defined front wheel openings, and fender bulges. Awesome front and rear lighting detail. This one had the optional black roof on it that kind of gave it that
floating.
Not so much the floating thing. I was more along the lines of, isn't this what Mini does? The different colored roofs and that sort of stuff. It adds to the overall appeal, I think.
It's like a Minnie Mouse.
Huh?
I visualized Minnie Mouse for a moment. I couldn't figure out what you're...
Sorry, Steve.
Minnie Mouse. Has he been smoking something?
Yeah,
here?
move on.
Anyway, all of the design touches are spot on. Interior highlights. Excellent dash design with easy-to-use infotainment system. Plasticky door panels that will outlive you. Attractive upholstery. Enough tech to satisfy your 13-year-old. Cargo trunk room, limited. This is an extra small hatchback, so don't expect to have, some steamer luggage that you can throw back there, because that ain't happening. What I liked about it, I like the indestructible interior. This would be a great car for somebody going off to college, first car, small family, whatever the case may be. What could use improvement? The seats lack a little lumbar support and upper back support. I think they could do a little work on that.
Well, that's because you're old and your lumbar is saggy.
Decrepit, that's not all. 1.6-liter inline 4-cylinder that has 122 horsepower and 114 pound-feet of torque. Not a lot, but remember, this is a
CVT. That's just right.
Yeah, it actually is. Gets 31 miles per gallon in the city, and get this, 36 on the highway for a combined of 33. I got 34.5 miles per gallon over 400 miles.
Old Dr. Soft Shoe.
Not really. I mean, going to work, I'm doing 75 on the Beltway for 30 miles. That's not
if you're running with the traffic.
Yeah. What I liked about it was the fuel economy. It was
for
easy
sure.
to drive. It was fun. What could use improvement? A little more horsepower or at least an optional engine with turbo, because all of them have the same motor in it. And that's not a bad thing. But they keep the price down with that, and that's important. What I liked about it, the fun suspension, but it's not racy. You can toss it around the corners. What could use improvement? Nothing. Ride and handling, set to appeal to the masses. Base trim price, $22,850. Prices tested, $27,915. And the base model price, if you could find one, $20,290.
Wow.
That's nice.
It competes with the Kia Soul for $19,890, the Chevy Trailblazer, which is a little bit bigger, $22,100, and the Hyundai Kona for $22,140. I think that it's really spot-on competitor. Mars may differ with me on this. Would be the Kia Soul for $19,890. Yeah, I had one. They're to me, they go head-to-head, size and price, that sort of thing.
I would say so.
Yeah.
That's good.
So anyway, that's the review of the 2023 Nissan Kicks SR CVT. I liked it.
Nice.
Go to your Nissan dealer and ask to drive one. It may be too small for you, but I get it. I think
But there's a place for that.
I totally agree.
And they have a larger mid-size SUV above that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that's
I think it's
too small,
the
you know,
Rogue.
something else you can
I
look
think
at.
the Rogue is upscale from that.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I know somebody that has a Rogue. Boy, is that a nice car.
Yeah, my son has a Rogue. He loves it.
Yeah, I could totally get that.
Yeah, it's the Rogue that T-boned my Cadillac.
Was it a Rogue that it was?
Mhm.
How did the Rogue do in the T-bone?
It rolled.
It rolled.
Mhm.
Well, I mean,
it is
I
when
think
you roll
that
your
they. That's not the car that's sitting out there.
No, that's the replacement.
The replacement for it, because they totaled the other one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Mhm.
I do want to remind you
Okay.
that the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com, and podcasts are available at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your hot rod, classic, resto mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar, because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupe Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWillTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise Inn, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. Hattie? Who's that from?
That's the lady with the thing on her hat.
Minnie
Pearl. That's her, yeah,
Pearl,
that's it.
price tag on her head.
That's it, yeah.
Welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Alina Abakarova. I knew I'd screw it up, Alina. Never mind.
She'll tell
Texas
us.
Mile competitor and student of Mr. Greg Ditch at Naperville High School. This week in auto history, Conrad's going to have that a little bit later on. We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday with our little car coffee clutch that we have every Saturday morning. The
Worldwide.
live version, worldwide. What's our furthest place that we're broadcasting?
Down in South America, there's some little place down in there. There's
I
a
thought-
guy that listens to us.
Medellin. Is it Medellin? No, it's
I
Colombia.
thought it was.
We get a couple of people from Australia and New Zealand from
Yeah.
time to time as well.
I thought that we had somebody from Poland.
We do.
Oh,
Me.
yeah.
Me.
Well, we do have. Yeah, but
We had
he's
we
the-
actually had a guy in Ukraine here recently.
That's right.
pick
That's
us up.
in the Ukraine.
Yep.
Yikes.
Well, we've gotten
Hope
Hawaii.
we're entertaining
You know,
for
you
them.
know how you deliver $113 billion
I'm ready.
Easy.
with the Ukraine?
Is this something that you just
I
heard
think
this
he just
week?
made
or-
that up. I don't know.
I think he made
Moving
it up.
on. Moving on.
Uh-huh.
Never mind.
All right. Alina Abakarova. Did I do it right that time?
Yeah.
I did it.
Sure.
Well, I want to hear you say it. You say it.
Bakirova.
Oh, that ain't right.
Say it again.
Bakirova.
See, it does. That doesn't have
you
that
can't
little
roll your R,
twang
yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't roll your R's.
No, I
and stuff.
can't do that. But at any rate, Alina, it's good to have you with us. She's a student now, I guess, at Universal Technical Institute. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is about 10 minutes away from Naperville, right?
Oh, yes. The UTI is in Lisle, Illinois, and I am in the diesel industrial technology program right now.
So she's doing diesel technology.
There you go.
So,
Good career choice.
but she doesn't look like a diesel person.
No.
What does a diesel?
What is a
That's
diesel?
always the catch. That's always the catch.
What does a diesel person look
Well, when
like?
you think about a diesel person, the diesel guys I know, their hands.
No,
they've been-
You said
Marty,
guys. There you go.
Yeah,
Do you know any diesel women? You said guys.
Well, no, I
There
don't.
you
That's
go.
why I'm real interested in this
no
segment.
comparison.
But still,
Yeah.
a great career choice because again, the demand for technicians in the diesel world, the fleet world, is huge. So
I mean, honestly, as long as it can sponsor my racing career,
There you go.
You know,
Yes.
I mean, I know I'm not a burly man sitting here and a 5 foot, Asian woman, but nevertheless, it works. It works, right?
She does know the business side of it.
So
Dan.
if anybody's interested in sponsoring you, how can they get a hold of you?
By my
Just reach out to me at
by my manager.
yeah. GDitch at naperville203.org or contact Greg Ditch through the school here at Naperville North High School.
Very nice.
So so the truck's up here at the school and she's 5 or 10 minutes away, so I'll get you in touch with her. And
we assume that's the truck behind you.
that is it. Yes, the 1997 S10 in pearl matte pink.
Pearl Matte Pink. I want to go back just a second with UTI and where you are in your diesel education right now over at UTI in Lisle. Where are you?
So-
What are you learning?
So I'm about halfway through the program already. I'm set to graduate in October, originally in September, but I have to take a leave of absence because the Texas Mile, and I don't want to miss any class because then my professionalism goes down. So I was thinking that it was smart to take a course break, which is 3 weeks, because every single class is 3 weeks.
Nice. Okay. Well, good. So you got that planned out. All right. So where are you? What are you learning right now in diesel class?
So right now I'm in hydraulics application class, which is that is a diesel class. So we have 7 classes that are automotive and diesel. So it's a hybrid. Yep. And then we have the automotive program kids, the diesel and automotive. And I am just diesel, but some of the classes are like intertwined. Right. I have had the automotive brakes, truck powertrains, basic engines, advanced electronics already.
What is your favorite part of what you're learning right now?
Honestly, it will have to be engines and electronics and electrical.
So, talking about engines, what powers your S10?
So my S10 here is a 96 Corvette C4 LT1 engine.
Okay.
And we're running some nitrous on it, like 100 and 200 shots, depending how we feel that day, obviously, because it's in Texas and everything's different in Texas. So
everything's bigger and better in Texas.
Bigger, better, and faster.
Yeah, we don't want to blow it up bigger and better. We'll wait to the end.
I got you. Yes, absolutely. No blowing up engines.
Well, when you said what's your favorite part, I should be doing this interview with us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, back to those soft skills we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I love it. No, I love it. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. It's just amazing to me that you guys are interested in my life and this.
We like anyone that's up and coming in the automotive industry. So the young folks especially.
You're going to UTI, focusing on diesels, and you see that as your future of some sort, I guess. And how did you morph that into the racing? I mean, what drug you into the racing, I guess?
Well, I was connected with the automotive program here already. So that was it. And the racing, I like fast cars, and my favorite game growing up with Need for Speed. And then I found out that a lot of ladies want to come up here and learn about automotive, and it made me very happy because at UTI we have like 5 girls in general. There are so little, female enrollment, and I never see another girl in the class besides myself. So I'm usually the only one. Well, it gets kind of lonely.
Yeah, I've worked for General Motors as a field engineer, and then for 13 years with BG Products, and starting to see more and more females in the shops and as well on the service drive and service manager positions throughout Texas. So it's a great opportunity for you. It seems the market is kind of changing, that what they're looking for are skill sets and not so much about what the gender of the person is that's bringing the skill set.
Absolutely.
Well, on that, I know my time's up, but my soft skills are bad too. I want to jump in, but after spending over 20 years in the automotive industry, it was, the only generally ladies that we ever had in there were, ladies working in the back office or whatever. And now, you walk into a dealership and probably half your sales floor are women.
Not only that, but the ownership, the dealer principals are women now.
Well, I think it's important because now, as a society, we realize that technical skills are way more important than stereotypes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, our language, even though we might speak different languages, like English is not my first, my third, but our language, what we have in common is cars. And what we have in common is our passion and our career. I think that's the most important part. And I think that's what connects people.
So when are you coming to Texas to run the Texas Mile?
Did you say when?
When?
Yeah, when?
March 22nd?
We leave March 22nd. The race is on the
24th through the 26th.
Yeah, so we're going to spend about a day and a half driving down. I'm taking about 10 or 12 kids down to the race with us.
Pit crew.
Yeah.
It's going to be my pit crew. It's going to be a school bus and our truck and our trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta put the school bus out
That's
there.
gonna
You
be
gotta
fun.
run the school bus.
and we've had a number of people on the show in the past that run the Texas Mile.
They're great folks. Great folks.
You know, is it Todd Knowles? He runs that Porsche, that red Porsche 911
I think
Turbo.
so, yeah.
And
Where is the track?
Beeville, Texas.
Beeville, the airport, the old airport there.
And then we've also had Mark, and I can't remember Mark's last name, but he's the one who went 300 in his twin turbo Ford GT.
Yeah, we ran it with some students back in 2013, and I had actually at that time Donnie Neuenberger. I crewed for him in the NASCAR Truck Series. He drove our car down there, and that was, I think, one of the first times that that Ford GT was down there, and it was running. I mean, back then, incredible speeds at like 260 miles an hour, and to make it go over 300. Yeah.
So what speed are you targeting the S10 at?
170, 175.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not really sure what it can do yet, but
No testing?
it'll be tested on the track that day.
Can't test it on the
I
highway.
have an opportunity.
Yeah,
to test
it's
anyway.
it's not really a street legal car, but UTI does have a good performance program.
Oh
And
yeah.
So we'll do some simulated runs on the dyno, and we'll do a little bit of driving with it to make sure nothing falls off. But part of the thing with the mile too is she's going to have to get a graduated license, and that'll be part of testing where you'll have to run up to 140 miles an hour and then up to 160. So that whole first day is really just kind of a shakedown day and getting her comfortable in the truck. And then, they're going to make sure you can't just go out there and do 300 miles an hour because you can. They're going to make sure that you can handle the vehicle safely, and you have to pass tech inspection and to run different classes and things. It has to have
Soft skill.
soft skill.
Can I ask how old you are, young lady?
I am 20 years old.
20 years old. What a resume she's building.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
a resume.
So who did because at 170, you're going to have a pretty good cage in that. Who does all the welding on the cage inside the truck?
So on this one, I had the cage welded a few years ago. I've got a couple of other projects back here that I have some kids that go to College of DuPage in the afternoons and do welding. And we had this El Camino that you can't see. It's just off to the side here. But I've got a student that did all the welding on the chassis and cage. But yeah, this one was professionally done. So, and really, they don't even require much of a roll cage until you start getting over 200. So,
What did you do to the engine and what, gear ratios and that sort of stuff?
So engine, it's just got kind of a mild cam in it. Headers. We did change. Now the LT1s were from the 90s, and there wasn't much tunability on those computers. So it's been switched over to an LS. Everybody's kind of familiar with the LS engines. So the ignition system's off of like an 03 Tahoe, which is very tunable. And then nitrous oxide. Now, the thing that's a little scary on this is when we built it, we didn't really have a lot of this in mind, and it's just kind of cast pistons in there. So we're going to be careful. And when it comes back, we're going to see what we'll collect data and kind of figure out what happened. And that's sort of my engineering mind students. My top girl in the program, she's going into aerospace engineering. So she's all about collecting data and doing the aerodynamics and stuff on this thing.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. But I do have some forged pistons and some better parts for it once it comes back. So if it holds together, fine. We have a turbo here and some other things that we can look at. But this is just sort of a baseline. And then, I'd like to build this out over the next few years and maybe even try to run Bonneville with it, or wherever we can go. Wherever.
What kind of gear set do you have in this thing?
Yes, 273.
A 273.
It's a Ford 8.8 rear end in it. And when I ran the mile 10 years ago, we had a 2006 GTO and had like a 342 or a 346 gear in it. And we really ran out of gear about the 3/4 mile mark. So I'm hoping with this 273 that
so when you cross the line, what kind of RPM you looking at?
5,500, 5,800 maybe.
Not too bad. So you're not going to really press it that hard.
No, I don't think so. I think all that this thing's going to carry is probably about 6,000 RPMs. I mean, we upgraded the valve train on it. It's got good rocker arms on it. It's got the dual beehive valve springs on it. So we shouldn't get much valve float, but I just don't think that this engine's going to have much beyond that 55 to 5800 mark.
Does it have a manual transmission?
No, it has a, and people are going to cringe when they hear it, 4L60E. It's not making a ton of power, but it has a like almost a sequential shifter. It's an electronic shifter, so she'll have a lever in there that she'll just push forward and just get it into gear.
Well, the thing you like about the Texas Mile is, you go find some of these people out there, and they'll be willing to help coach you as well.
Absolutely.
This isn't a competition that they want to see you fail.
No,
this is a competition they want to see you succeed. So, if you can find either of the marks, I'm sure they'd be thrilled to help coach you a little bit on
and
driving.
I'm not like going into it with a mindset of winning. It's a win when we get there because we will meet so many people. I'll get the coaching. I will get the guidance. It's amazing for me to even get into that field and
have the opportunity, right?
Have the opportunity. I'm very grateful. This is a big project for, us girls. We had a lot of fun with it. We had a lot of fun. I'm just coming up here after school, after my school.
Well, hopefully we can get you some media there as well.
Yep.
Alina, Greg, it's great to have you guys on the air with us. We've learned a lot. We thank you so much for joining us. Please, tell us how you're doing, what's going on, your route along the way, and hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed that it's going to be a great, successful event for you guys.
Yeah. We'll have to come back after the race and kind of give you guys a post-race recap on, what went good and what didn't. So.
Please do.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Thank you both so much. Best of luck to you, Alina, and y'all take care.
It's going to be fun.
It will be.
Oh my gosh, I got excited.
I'd like to see the whole school bus pull up to the Texas Mile. What people are going, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Run the bus.
Run the bus.
Run the bus.
The short bus.
All right, time now for Conrad's This Week in Auto History.
Again.
Well, and a good lead-in because this week in auto history in 1893, Rudolf Diesel received a patent for the diesel engine. Diesel engine burns fuel oil rather than gasoline, and it's what's called combustion ignition engines. It doesn't have a spark plug. As the pressure increases inside the combustion chamber, it gets to a point where it ignites the fuel to push the piston down. So that's a picture of one of the very first. It was a single-cylinder diesel. So in 1909, the Hudson Motor Company, founded by Joseph Hudson in Detroit, Michigan, there you go, Jeffrey, was incorporated on this week. Hudson is perhaps most famous for its impact on NASCAR racing, where it accomplished, thanks to its revolutionary, what was called a mono-built design. Today, you would call it a unibody car.
Or ugly.
Well, it may have been ugly, but what was...
Lori Brown's mother in Waukesha, Wisconsin, had a green one of those, and I was never so embarrassed to ride in that car.
And she was unibody, too.
Oh, so ugly. Anyway, go ahead.
But that was one of the things of bringing a unibody car to the track was made it that much lighter with equal amount of power, so it was faster.
I like it.
In 1919, Oregon became the first state to impose a 1% tax on gasoline, and they haven't stopped since. Every state imposes gasoline taxes on you, collecting funds for what they say.
And so what are the states going to do when there is no more gasoline-powered cars?
I don't know. We'll have to ask
taxes going to
Buzz about that.
License plates.
Go ahead.
Because they're supposed to be used for road construction.
Yeah.
We know that's a lie.
Yeah.
But anyhow, in 1935, the Pontiac Indian Maiden mascot was patented by its designers, Chris Klein and Chris Karnstadt. Pontiac, the namesake for General Motors' manufacturing division, was a male war chief in the Ottawa tribe who distinguished himself in his bravery in fighting the English during the French and Indian Wars.
Thank God he wasn't shaking hands with a customer.
That's Hyundai.
In 1948, the Federal Trade Commission issued a restraining order preventing Willys Overland from representing that it had developed the Jeep for World War II.
What you talk about, Willys?
Well, I think that's a shame because, now Jeep is such a brand name that everybody knows, but Willys Overland wasn't allowed to take credit for it back then. And then in 1959, it's kind of difficult to talk about NASCAR without talking about the Daytona 500. The first Daytona 500 was won this week in 1959 by Lee Petty driving his brand new Oldsmobile 88.
Dun, dun, dun.
And later that year, they transitioned to Plymouth products, and to a large degree, Richard Petty finished his career driving various Plymouth Dodge. I think there was a Ford in there. Mm-hmm. There was another Oldsmobile back in the mid-'70s as well. So,
is that it?
That was this week in auto history.
Thank you, sir. Among the top 25 brands of automobiles in the United States, Buick ranked highest in 2022 among women based on personal new vehicle registrations. Brands with highest female buyer representation, Buick at 55%. Get this, Mitsubishi at 51%.
Wow.
Female buyers have been shown to consistently demonstrate more brand loyalty than male buyers, averaging 4 percentage points more likely to stick with the same brand, according to S&P. These figures are notable considering Dodge, Ram, and GMC have been struggling with new buyer loyalty. Brands with the highest volume of registrations among women. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Toyota secured the most hearts and minds of female car buyers in 2022 by hundreds of thousands of personal registrations. 606,000 for Toyota, and the second runner-up was Honda at 363,000.
Oh, I thought Lexus would have been up there too.
Well, that's a little bit higher price. With the Toyota, I can see that because they're virtually bulletproof if you maintain them.
Yep.
So that's why.
Anyway, I just thought the story was interesting. Mm-hmm. Billy Joe Red McCombs, who built his Texas dealership empire from a pair of used car stores in Corpus Christi, died a week ago. He was 95 years old. His business enterprises spanned from real estate to ranching, professional sports to energy, but it was his start in automotive retail that launched what would become McCombs Enterprises, the umbrella company serving all of his businesses.
And they dominated the San Antonio market.
Yeah, they did.
Yes. I didn't know this, that he co-founded Clear Channel Communications, which was sold in 2008 and now is named iHeartMedia. He had owned the San Antonio Spurs, Denver Nuggets, and Minnesota Vikings professional sports teams. His estimated net worth at the time of his death, $1.7 billion.
I bet you he got a lot of people calling him asking for free tickets.
Yeah,
well,
I have a secretary to call to ask for free tickets.
We're on iHeart, so we're part of that.
So before we take a break here, I did want to bring you this story, and I thought it's interesting, and Conrad, you need to listen to this. A growing number of state dealer associations are petitioning state legislatures to close the historic gap between customer pay and warranty reimbursement, leaving automakers backpedaling to defend their bottom lines. For nearly as long as there have been warranties, automakers and auto dealers have battled over factory reimbursements for warranty work.
Absolutely.
But now it appears the dealers have opened up a successful new front in their decades-long struggle, this time on the terrain of accommodating state capitals, where friendly legislators in some states are introducing amendments to franchise laws that mandate much higher payments for covered repairs. So far, dealers have been successful in a handful of states, including Illinois, Wisconsin, and Montana. But already the impact has been dramatic. Nearly $250 million in additional payments sent to dealers in just the 5 year after manufacturers in Illinois were required to pay retail labor rates for service, according to the automakers umbrella group. Now, additional states, Colorado, California, and Texas, among others, are lining up to introduce similar changes to their franchise laws to close the gap between factory pay and customer pay repairs.
And that goes back to, like we were speaking with Elena about, is the flat rate. You know, a book says this job takes an hour to do.
Right.
So the technician does the job and he gets paid an hour. Whether he takes 3 hours to do it or whether he takes 30 minutes to do it, he gets paid an hour. So the warranty book might only pay 7/10. The retail price might be an hour, so it's that difference. So it's going to cost the manufacturers more for warranty repairs.
Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back to wrap things up on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in, returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod, Classic, Resto-Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In-Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. And by the way, I wanted to remind everybody that next week, we are going to be at the 10th anniversary celebration of the Hemi Hideout.
An automotive bucket place.
Oh, yeah, bucket list.
Bucket list place to visit.
Absolutely. Now, I think that next week's event is by invitation only, but we're going to be there, and we're going to have some interesting interviews with some of John's friends.
Maybe get a little chance to tour around, look at some of the cars. And
are you working on that?
Working on that.
Okay. And I'm going to bring the Rally out. First time it's been out in a while.
If the Corvette is clean and ready to go, I'll take that as well. What are you bringing? You bringing the Cadillac?
Yeah. Is Leslie coming?
Yeah, she's planning on it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
I know.
She going to bring the Jag?
I don't care.
No, I think,
tone, everything.
She's right. She's going to ride in with Kathy. I think she's going to ride in with Kathy.
Is that what she's going to do?
Yeah, she wants to make sure she gets there.
Yeah, well, we all do.
Ouch.
All right. Well,
ba-doom-ching.
That's a wrap for this week's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. When you're online, check out our Facebook page. Give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn hunting features, along with all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and other informative and entertaining goodies. That's what I call them. You can find the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Be sure to catch the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show live on the video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central. Daily 30-minute podcasts are available from over a dozen of the most popular podcast providers. The In-Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. He'll be there next week.
Yep.
Oh my God. Our Marketing Advertising Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zekin.
Darn you.
For booking agent, podcast piddler, Mike Mars, and Mr. Know-It-All, his royalty, King Conrad DeLong, I'm Don Armstrong. Be sure and join us again for the next live 3-hour In Wheel Time Car Talk Show next Saturday, March 4th, live from the Hemi Hideout, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time on all of our In Wheel Time Car Talk outlets. Have a great weekend, stay safe, and let's visit again next week. So long for